has to cook it after he kills it. Listen, I don't make the rules. That's just how hunting works. So what are you going to do for dinner?
I don't know.
Is it Bojangles kind of night?
I haven't had Bojangles since Mother's Day weekend.
Is it a Bojangles kind of night?
And see, Bojangles was like that day. It was like, well, I'm kind of on like the strict diet, but since it's my mom, yeah, I'm gonna fuck up some Bojangles. Tonight, it's just okay. I just want to fucking cheat and eat some goddamn chicken and fries.
There you go.
It's gonna be
I'm a great influence.
You are.
No, the name of the show is not Talking About Chaos. There will be chaos, but we're not solely talking about chaos.
Corrupted chaos.
No.
Corrupted chaos.
It's fixed. They even extended. Have you played it yet?
No, I don't have a PS5.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't really thought that part all the way through.
And see, no. The thing is, I forgot to I forgot the time for my little pre-order yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was just working on shit because I took yesterday off to like work on behind the scenes shit.
Yeah.
And like time just flew by. I'm like, and it's like 11. I'm like, oh shit, I'm supposed to pre-order or order a PS5 today. Oh well.
Oh well. That's.
Oh, well.
I mean, by the time you've realized that there's no other viable reaction.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you really can do about it. So, like, oh well.
It is what it is. All right, I can't do the camera still till Byrne is here, so just waiting. We might start a little late because of that. Nothing I can do about it.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Is it an allure night or is it?
Yeah, allure night.
I always forget how many Fridays they do every Friday, or if they skip one.
They do every Friday after the first. Because the first week, yeah. Because like I do first Saturday, so they don't do allure on that first Friday, but every Friday after, and then the last Saturday. So they do a weekend on the last weekend.
It's coming up then. It's next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we back. Damn right, we back. We back to talk about the E3s. You guys are gonna have to keep me like in the loop because I'm not gonna lie, I've forgotten 90% of E3 already. It was that underwhelming for me.
It was underwhelming for a lot of people, yeah.
Nintendo, I remember mostly. That's probably just because it was the most recent one, other than Bandai. But Bandai said it was going to be like a conference on one thing, and then they did a conference on one thing.
House of Ashes.
Yeah, and
it wasn't even a conference. It was just like a talk about, like a little dev talk through. Yeah,
kind of like Capcom's like, we're going to talk about these 4 things. Everyone's like, wait, why didn't you talk about these other things? It's like, we told you we're going to talk about these 4 things. So I don't know what you wanted. I was like, I know what I wanted.
Like a lot. The main thing is, like, to be fair, Capcom and Bandai Namco kind of did that on the same day where they said, hey, this morning we're going to talk about this, this, and this. And everybody's like expecting so much, even though they laid it out.
E3 is like a blowjob you know will be bad, but you just can't turn it down.
Wow.
That's a good analogy.
Wow.
I accept that analogy.
I don't know what to say to that. Holy shit.
Slice is only mad he didn't think of it.
No, it's just like, damn, that's a hell of a feeling.
But Jesus. Is it wrong?
Not completely.
What's the part about it that's got you on the fence?
Is it really a blowjob though? Jesus Christ.
It's that bad, huh?
I have no idea what the hell I just walked into.
Hi, Byrne.
Yeah.
Hi.
No, so somebody in my chat said that E3 is like a blowjob that you know will be bad, but you can't turn it down anyway. And so that's what you came into. Well, not what you. Yeah. That's what you arrived to. Never mind.
Yeah, let's can we reword? Yeah, let's reword.
I'm not winning any of these. Hi, by the way.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy indeed.
Hello.
I'm just fixing up the cameras real quick. And then, why am I here 3 times? My camera is, every single one I clicked is just on me. I don't want it. That's a terrible show. Oh, man. I'm definitely bringing up the PS5 thing again, Sly. So I asked him if he'd played Chaos, and he's like, I don't have a PS5. And I'm like, right. I should have maybe considered that before asking.
Yeah.
Am I the only one here with a PS5?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I got it
okay.
release day. Yeah.
Okay,
I got
supposed to get
I got that and the Xbox both on release day.
Yeah, I was supposed to order one yesterday, but I was working on some behind the scenes stuff, and I completely forgot the time for the like Sony like direct order bullshit. And by the time it hit like 11 p.m., I was like, wait, I was supposed to order a PS5.
Talk about that Sony thing that was like, hey, we invite you to have a chance to pre-order.
I forgot about that. We invite you
You're
to have
so
a chance.
special.
And that's
You're
what
so
it is.
special.
That's exactly what it is.
And some people who got the invitation still weren't able to get one.
Well, yeah, because it was just a chance to pre-order. Yes. You're a valued customer. Let us put you in this line.
All right, Stewie.
Oh, that wasn't even Stewie.
Yeah, but you were leaning into it.
valued customer. Let's put you in this line. Yes.
You were, yeah, you have a natural kind of Stewie demeanor as like a person. I don't know if that's just the theater in you, because he has a very Shakespearean sort of way of speaking.
Brian comes in and he mixes up the tempo.
Forgot about that. I actually have everything.
Why are you bringing me down?
Why are you bringing me down, man? Why are you bringing me down? Don't bring me down.
Don't bring me down.
Music and lyrics by Stewie Griffin. Oh, no, you're right. You're right, Happy. You totally need a vacation.
I've never said that before in my life. And everyone else says it except me.
Dark holidays.
I am the least...
Hi, Chris.
Stop. I'm the... He's just saying lines at this point with nothing.
Hi, Chris.
There's no context. Listen, if I need to hear any of these impressions, I fortunately have a highlight video in which I can relive any of them.
My son actually asked me today, he was like, hey, you're going to be on Happy's thing tonight? I said, yeah. And he said, when you get there, ask him when You Volume 2 is coming.
You Volume 2?
Yeah. He said, when's You Volume 2 coming? And I was like, I am not asking him that.
But you just did, in a way.
No, I didn't ask you. I told you the story of him asking.
Yeah, but thus you've now, it's like a request.
No, don't answer me. It's not a question. It was a statement.
Yeah, but it was a question that was passed from another person.
Should I do the whole show as Herbert?
That's not how you spell Herbert, but okay.
Oh, God.
It's spelled like pervert.
Hi, Chris. Got some popsicles in the basement.
I have all of these lines already.
How is this not a trap?
My word. Can't
Look,
escape
Jesse.
it.
Smell my finger.
You want to see my purple heart?
Where's that muscly on paper boy?
We know far too many of these lines. I can pinpoint. I can pinpoint every episode.
Yeah.
Every single one of these lines is.
Get your fat ass back here.
No, I like the answering machine the best.
Yeah.
The answering machine's one of the best ones.
It's starting to piss me off. Call me.
Starting to piss me off.
The best is the end. He gets so angry. He's starting to piss me off. Call me.
Jesus Christ.
Look, Jesse, it looks like God sent me a conversation starter. Next up, the Little League World Series. Jackpot!
There's going to be a point where people are imitating that and people don't know what it's from. And it's going to be real bad. Like, this is dude who is like jerking off to Little League. I don't know what's going on right now. And it's like, you don't know
Never
Family
swallows
Guy?
a moose Tylenol PM wins.
Every single one of these lines needs context so bad.
Samuel has no idea where this is from. It's Family Guys. It's a Family Guy.
It's the least family part of Family Guy.
Right.
Yeah, I think all of our audio levels are okay. I think someone would have said something by now.
Oh, well, we've certainly tested the hell out of them.
We tested Herbert's volume, not yours.
Yeah. Herbert's fine. Stewie, you want to check in? You got your G code, so you feel safe.
You know, it was weird. I randomly got
you got the A minor.
I randomly got the Rocket Man Stewie thing recommended to my YouTube. I don't know why, because I haven't watched any Family Guy on YouTube. It just said Rocket Man.
Adia, my favorite cutaway is when they're going to cut away to Michael J. Fox spilling wine on Peter's shirt. But it cuts instead to Peter saying, you know, hey, we were going to do this, but we're going to take the high road on this. And, you know, we're not going to do this joke. You know, I basically told you that, oh, we do have it? Oh, okay. And then they show the cutaway anyway.
Oh, you can't put Michael J. Fox in cutaways. That's not fair. That man has done wonders.
Yes, you do hear Burns. Hello. Burn, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can make. I can make it. I can make it be
that since kindergarten. I've gotten that S on the end of my last name since kindergarten. I got Byron. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Byron.
Mikhail Byron. Dude, you sound like you're from the Old Testament.
I do.
Mikhail Byron.
I threaten my kids. If I swear to God, if you don't behave, I'm going to turn you into a pillar of salt.
To be fair, I feel like that's just parenthood in general.
I'm very biblical.
I feel like what you've just described is just general parenthood.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, it's absolutely fine.
It's totally fine. Yes, you're totally good. No, you're right. You totally need a vacation. How's that novel coming, Happy? Got a good protagonist.
My mom asked me one day.
Going on an adventure with his friends, learning a little something about themselves, becoming a little stronger. No, you're right. You totally need a vacation.
That's fun. My mother straight up asked me the other day, "Are you ever gonna write a book?" And I'm like, "What?"
If you wrote a book, what would it be on? Like, would you write a
I gotta. If I write a book,
100K type thing,
everyone in my family needs to be dead before I write the book, because I do not want them
like one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I ever wrote a book, everyone in my immediate family would have to be dead first. So in other words, never writing one.
Yeah. By the way, congrats on 100K Twitch. I didn't tell you that the day it happened, but
hey, thanks. Congrats. I didn't even realize it the day it happened. So
yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
Well, that's why I was like, would you write a book on like your streaming life, or would I mean,
that'd be a part of it. It'd be a bibliography.
5 viewers per video to thousands and stuff like
bibliography, but biography.
That's where your book would be listed, so that you could it would be referenced in other books.
I'm sure that'll happen. It's fine.
Oh, I'd quote you. Yeah, so what would it be called? Road to 100K, the story of Big Daddy? Like, what would you call it?
I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole anymore, because we were supposed to start the show, and
but E3 was kind of garbage. So what would you name your book?
The Pursuit of Happiness.
The Pursuit of Happiness. There.
Yes.
But then it's actually about my dick. Anyway, moving on.
Well, wouldn't that? Never mind.
Happiness. There you go.
A penis in the asshole.
Hap penis. Hap penis. Wow. There you go.
That was one of the best parts of Super Troopers 2, by the way. Scene.
All right. I'm moving on. We should probably start this, yeah?
Whatever.
All right. Sounds good. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to mute myself for 5 seconds and start it, because we don't have fancy intros for this one like we do the other one, because we only do it because we are not doing State of the Realm. So we have like no assets for it other than like barely anything at all. It's the most unprofessional show, but that's fine. I saw it. It's a short story. It's definitely a short story. To be fair, that is a classic comeback to that.
Right? Either that or it's a fable.
Even Fable wasn't at E3. Why gotta bring that up already?
Yeah. Oh, I'm on fire.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God! I will totally read the Audible version, please.
Oh my God! Can I start the damn show?
Please let me read the Audible version.
Let me start the damn show.
I will pay you to let me read the Audible version.
I'm including all of what's happened in the last 3 minutes, and we're starting. Hi. where our cameras are on now. Because I can't start the show because you just want to talk about books and Audible. We're not even sponsored by them.
You're writing a book now.
I'm not writing a book.
Yeah.
Just the show's on.
And I'm
all
going
right?
to narrate. I'm going to read it on Audible.
Audible reads it for you. Oh,
No,
I get what you're saying. You're the reader.
I'll
Yeah, you're the reader. I got it now.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to Talking About Games.
Yeah, we're talking about games, and he wants to talk about me writing a book. I've been trying to start the show for the last 3 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, we're done, right? We can start. And he's like, man, E3 sucks.
I'm going where chat takes us. It's what the viewers want. I'm bringing their conversation.
No, this is certainly your conversation. This is almost certainly your conversation. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Talking About Games, a show that we do in weeks when we don't do State of the Realm because we still want to do a podcast, and there's something to talk about. So might as well just do a show anyway. We have reused State of the Realm assets on the stream right now. Nothing works on the side. My camera doesn't even work anymore. It just completely broke, so now I have to use the old C920 for everything. So everything's in shambles, and this is what's left.
Chaos. Absolute chaos.
Had to go there right away. All right.
Yeah, Tark did it on my show yesterday, and I threw him off the show. I turned his camera off for a little bit.
All right. Can I turn mine off?
If you want to shut mine off, I totally
No,
can.
I can just end the call instead. That's
Sweet. Yeah, that's fine.
That's great. I'll save you one cigarette break. That'll probably happen. Even somehow on this show, you'll find a way to have a friggin' cigarette break. So last week, Sly and I did E3 predictions, and this week E3, I suppose, happened. I believe. Aloha, I just started. Why is everything falling apart, Aloha? Don't do it.
This is a mess.
It is. You started it.
You're on thin ice, friend. You're on thin ice.
All right. So yeah, we did predictions last week, and then E3 happened, and some of them came to fruition. Most of them did not. And the ones that did, didn't get a whole lot. I mean, I think we don't even need to go into any specifics before we can all at least share what we thought about this E3. And this was an E3 that felt very much affected by the last year of events, is the way that I put it best.
But people don't realize it.
Oh, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Byrne, he specifically wanted you on the show to, and I quote, keep him honest.
Oh, to keep Sly honest? Sly has an honesty problem? Sly, in my experience, you have never had an honesty problem with you and I.
No,
I will do my best, though. If you talk some horse shit, yeah, I'll call you out. That's
I'm
no
not
problem.
I'm gonna talk shit. Ain't gonna be horse shit. But just, rein me in if you need to, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Please,
Aloha,
because
get out of here.
God.
He can't open the door on his own because the air is on and it's pulling it closed, so he can't pull it open enough to get out. All right. Yeah, that's so what about you, Byrne? Because I think Sly and I know how we feel, and I know how he was gonna feel, and he knew how I was gonna feel, but we don't know how you felt.
Yeah, so I didn't expect a whole lot. Like going into E3, I wasn't, super oh my God, the mega. Like there were a few that okay, we're gonna see Starfield, right? I don't know how much we'll see and if we'll get a date, but that'll be there. Nintendo will probably talk about their new system. They've got the Breath of the Wild 2 thing they've already confirmed but didn't announce or show a trailer. So that I had in my brain a couple bigger items that were going to be there. Some ended up being there and some did not end up being there. So I was very tempered going into it. And I've covered E3 for now, I don't know, 6-7 years, something like that. And with the exception of obviously last year. And so even with that tempered mentality, I still ended up kind of just disappointed in general. And my number one thing probably was that it didn't need to be 4 days. It just absolutely did not need to be 4 days of stuff. It felt like some of these companies were like, I feel like they didn't want to do it, but the ESA was like, no, come on, do it. We're going to give you some time. I mean, Capcom and Bandai Namco totally checked out. Like they were just like, hey, here's a trailer. And by the way, we're going to give the rest of our time to the the Play for All initiative and stuff like that. Like, it just could have been condensed. I understand why there was lesser news. I understand why there wasn't, the big splash announcements. But even then, I just kind of felt, I really started to feel the effect of Sony not being there in day 3. Day 3 was like the day where I was like, yeah, this is where I'm missing Sony being at the show.
Yeah, I expected this E3. I made some pretty wild predictions, regardless of the fact that this E3, anyone who you speak to in the industry would have told you to go in with low expectation, because it's not last year's development, 3 months after everything shut down, that was going to be affected the most. It was going to be a year later, no matter what. And honestly, even next E3 it's even that's questionable. To be something different, I think some more things we're expecting will be talked about even next year's E3, but it's likely to have lasting effects on some of the AAA projects that people are hoping to hear more. There was, of course, because you mentioned no Sony, there was nothing like a God of War or anything to really, rattle everybody. Some titles from other studios that were presenting likely weren't presented just because Sony wasn't there. So a whole lot of things kind of just pulled this together to remind us that E3 really doesn't need to exist and only exists because it's existed before.
Yeah, and I said that on, I think, the free-to-play cast on MMO Bomb this afternoon. Go visit mmobomb.com. That's a paycheck for me. Click the frickin' site. I said, this, as much as I personally love E3 and all video game conventions, particularly when I can go to them live, this year really kind of made me go, this just isn't relevant anymore. It hasn't been in years past. It's like been on the downswing for, arguably 4, 5, 6 years as far as relevance, because they don't reimagine E3 in any way. They try to just keep going. E3 is the biggest, the best. Everybody's going to want to be here. Well, not everybody is coming anymore, and hasn't been for years, because why would Sony or X company throw their announcements into a 3-day, 4-day jumble of announcements when they could just wait 3 weeks and do their own thing in the news space by themselves? I don't want to say it's like not relevant, but it needs a massive revamp at this point. It is not the showcase it once was pre-internet and even in early internet. It's just not that anymore, but it's still put together and organized as if it were. And I think that's to its detriment.
Well, I feel like, and we're mainly talking about these bigger companies.
Yeah.
But, like the demographic I feel that benefits the most from it and has the most to gain, and I feel did gain the most from it, are indies. Mm-hmm. They honestly, to me, kept the quote unquote saved E3. And everybody's talking about Nintendo save E3. No, indies did. They carried fucking E3. If you want to look in, if you want to compare, and it's not really a fair comparison to compare like AAAs to indies. At the same time, like, not everybody's into indies. Like there are a bunch that some people feel are shovelware, and I mean,
yeah, but that's like a double-edged sword, though, isn't it, Sly? Like, if you're an indie developer, you want to get on the E3 stage because everybody's watching. But everybody's watching because the big AAA companies are there. And when they start backing out, E3 becomes less relevant. And now it's not as special or eye-catching for the indies to force their way onto that stage.
But why not take advantage of the platform while it's still there? And yes, like a lot of people are backing out, but still, like, yeah, like this is the perfect time to take advantage. Like a lot of people are backing out. Sony's not there. You're really only dealing with maybe Nintendo and Xbox, and then a few like AAA publishers and devs. Yeah, this is the perfect time for them to capitalize on it. So yeah, and they did. They absolutely 100% did. You may not have been to all those indies, but there's something for everyone. So absolutely, yes, I really feel like indies carried E3 this year.
That becomes a question, though. How much How much are indies being carried specifically by E3, and how many of the indies that people remember the most came out of AAA presentations that happen to carry indie studios? Things like Microsoft, or in the case of Black not being present, Sony. If Sony puts an indie game or Microsoft puts indie games in their presentation that they're partnered with the studios or they've organized something, that is more likely on its own to bring attention. It's the indies that have their own publishers or no publishers or are part of collectives. And quite frankly, I don't think they need the name E3 to draw people in, because indies are kind of just like, they're their own beast in a sense. People hear indie, they see indie, and that's it. They want to know everything that the team of 1 or the team of 3 or the team of 10 that they may not have heard of before is bringing. And some of the biggest hits have come out of those teams, especially after Hades. I think Hades in itself was a huge service to the attention indie games get, something that we'll definitely be seeing for years.
And one of the things we've seen in years past, too, think back on like the initial PS5 and the Xbox Series X E3 announcements and even their own private announcements, how spotlighted indie games were within those new console announcements. You didn't need E3 to do that. You know, the Sony's own show, they beat over our heads. We're focused on indie. We're focused on indie. And then Microsoft got up there with the Xbox Series X and here it is, and indies and indie titles. You don't need E3 for that anymore. I don't disagree with you, Sly. Indies were the takeaway. You found something you wanted from E3 out of that audience. Maybe with 1 or 2 bigger titles. Maybe you're a little hyped for Starfield, or Metroid Dread really did it for you, or just seeing 30 seconds of Breath of the Wild 2 did it for you. That was your cool marquee announcement for your particular taste. But there was something there. One thing I did think, I was very, very disappointed, and Sly, as the not white guy on this panel, I would love your take on this to see if I'm just way off base. The diversity panel done by Take-Two.
Oh.
That panel, I thought a diversity talk on the E3 stage, that is this type of stage that those conversations need to happen. That I really, really want to see those conversations happen. One, I don't want to see them sponsored by a huge mega gaming corporation, stuff like that.
Right.
But whatever. I'll take it to get it on the stage. When I watched that, though, I walked away a little disappointed. One, it was hard to watch. The graphics and the overlays and the text and just everybody had text everywhere. It was kind of hard to watch. And then 2, rather than what I had hoped for, which was examples of inclusion and diversity in hiring practices, in video game representation, in all these different aspects of the industry, which we all talk about, it felt more like almost self-congratulatory in just kind of talking about different projects that people had done. Well, we ran this initiative and this and this and this, and we got this result and this result. And those are all great things, but I don't know if they moved the conversation forward in a meaningful way. And maybe I'm off base.
No, it really didn't. And to be honest, like the day of, while it was happening, we weren't really paying too much attention to it. But I did go back and watch it. Yeah. And yeah, like I get what you're saying. It was a lot of like pats on the back and things like that. Whereas what I
and by the way, well deserved. Like not taking anything away from any of the individuals on the panel. It just felt like thrown together. Like Take-Two called up 12 people and they were like, want to be on a diversity panel? Everybody write down generic diversity questions you want to ask each other. You got 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What I felt should have been done. Honestly, I felt like I guess a media platform, because they were, hosting like a day event for it. GameSpot should have actually, gave them time. And gave them, assets, resources to make it look good and make it, make us want to pay attention to it. And not just talk about the initiatives that you've done, but what can be done for the future.
Yeah.
That's where I feel it could have been better.
Okay, so I'm not
if it wasn't
totally
just like a-
crazy.
No.
I was just
You're not
let
crazy.
down with that. I thought there was more
not
opportunity
crazy.
there. Okay.
If anything, E3 is the
Yeah.
one missing that opportunity because E3 can put that as like a primary part of its programming. It can
Exactly.
it can bring
Exactly.
conversation across a lot more companies and panels. And
Well,
things
I mean,
like
I
that.
just
Right.
think there's so much. So, by the way, I was watching it on YouTube just because the Twitch chat was toxic. I mean, it was just not that YouTube's was any
Yeah, I was
better,
gonna
but
say,
it
just
was
turn
it
that
was
off.
scrolling slower. It was
Avoid
scrolling
any
slower. And
any
I
chat,
sadly
honestly.
I watched that go from that day. It
Oh.
had built up to like 1.6K likes and about 800 or 900 dislikes throughout the morning, and then it was tied by the end of the diversity panel. And I understand diversity is not a topic everybody wants to engage in and stuff like that. That is totally fine. If you don't want to engage, that's cool. Then just back off and don't engage. But I think there's just an importance in the discussion of, somebody said it in chat earlier, and you're not wrong. Who was it? So I can quote, fighting blind. Diversity to make a good story? Fine. Diversity for diversity's sake? That needs to end. And you know what? I don't think there's too many people that would disagree with that. Even people of color or in these minorities. They don't want diversity simply so that you can claim on the label it's fucking diverse. That's not the point. And I think the discussion could have covered things like that. What do we mean when we talk about diversity in game? What does that look like? Does it mean putting a person of color as your main character just so you can say, look, there's a person of color as your main character? No, that's not what that means. And that's the perception. So I think there was just huge missed opportunities. That's all.
And that's the theme of E3 this year is missed opportunities or just opportunities not taken.
True. True.
So technically, Sly and I, we did our predictions on what it was technically a day zero. At that point, there really hadn't been much of anything that had happened. The biggest thing that had come at that point was definitely Elden Ring getting a confirmed date, a new trailer.
Which wasn't even E3.
Wasn't even E3. They decided to do it before. The biggest thing is, it wasn't even that it wasn't E3.
That was Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, it was Summer
Thank
Game
Jeff
Fest.
Keighley.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was specifically Summer Game Fest because it beat E3 in the schedule. They got to be first.
Yep.
And on top of that, there wasn't much else that came out of Summer Game Fest to really draw the attention to it outside of Elden Ring. There were things there, and there was certainly a dedicated number of people who engaged with it. But, you know, compared to E3, Elden Ring's announcement shot out of the dark, even if you had never heard of Summer Game Fest or didn't know what was going on because you knew E3 was happening soon. And it just goes to show beating or not being in E3 is now more valuable probably than being in that time block of E3.
Do you think that releases on time? That's in the same month as we currently have for Forspoken, by the way. January of 2022. Do you think either of those titles releases on time?
Yes. I'm gonna be
Which or both?
Elden Ring.
You think Elden
gonna
Ring
be
goes on time and
optimistic.
Forspoken gets
I'm going
delayed?
to I really kind of want to be optimistic for both, but I really think, well, I forgot. Happy, who from Square is doing Forspoken?
That is the Luminous team. That is what is the remnants of what's left over after Tabata left, pretty much, to go work on his game, which was an RPG based on the Paralympics, if I recall correctly. It's supposed to release around the time of the Tokyo Olympics.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and say Forspoken's probably. Well, you could say the same for Elden Ring, but I feel like Elden Ring's been missing in action for so long that
Here's the thing, though. I think that Elden Ring only has that perception because we knew about it long before. Forspoken, they've been working on for quite some time. You can find interviews dating back to like 2018 talking about the development of a new title. They just waited until well into its, second, third year of development before announcing it. Elden Ring, as soon as they even had the idea of having George R.R. Martin writing for them, they're like, shit, tell everyone. And that's pretty much what led to the joke, because it really has only been a couple of years since they mentioned it. It hasn't been like 4 or 5. It's not like a Kingdom Hearts 3 or a Versus 13. It's only been a couple of years. But everyone acts like it's vaporware,
Jason Winter and I have been debating this back and forth. I think Forspoken is probably more open to a delay, than Elden Ring is. Like Elden Ring from Software is usually pretty damn good with their release dates, first off. And yeah, bigger title, new, whatever, but yeah. And two, the pressure was not on them to announce a date. They could have gotten away, in my estimation, with showing that trailer and just ending it with the word, the numbers 2022. And people would have been just as happy as they are right now. Like, there was zero pressure for them to put an exact date on it. They could have just said 2022 and called it a day.
So you think they overcommitted?
No, I don't think they overcommitted. I think they're locked in. I think they're locked in on that date. And I think they'll make it because, again, there was no pressure to put that date out there if they were even remotely unsure that they could make that date. There was no pressure to give an exact date. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and they have a proven track record. I agree. Elden will probably be on time. I think Forspoken is more likely to be delayed if any of them are.
Yeah. The Luminous engine has proven difficult.
Challenging, to say the least.
So, if I were to have to pick one that will and won't and not just have no confidence either way, it would definitely be Forspoken delayed. Because I think Elden Ring, again, gets too much flack for having long periods of time between announcements versus actually looking at when the first announcement happened, which they then went quiet on until we don't have anything else.
I walked away from Elden announcing a date going, yeah, they'll probably make that date. I walked away from Forspoken when we first got the date going.
Is that a motherfucking
That's coming out in January already. Wow. Okay. That thing's right. Okay. It's right around the corner. All right.
Yeah. Fair enough, but that's pretty much what came the most out of Day Zero. Plenty of other titles were spoken about at Summer Game Fest. That's just the big one to actually hit on. But Saturday, June 12th is when everything officially kicked off, and we started with Ubisoft. Now, I saw some people being rather upset that face right there at Ubisoft, but here's what I like to put. Ubisoft always has the usual, which normally has to be Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, maybe a Tom Clancy game. I call that the usual. That's the Ubisoft, that looks cool, but realistically, it's not really much my alley. I'm sure there are plenty of people excited about it, but not me. Then there's the Ubisoft I don't expect to see every time, and that's Mario Rabbids. That's Riders Republic. Right. And I'm always like, damn, yeah, I liked that. That was really cool to see that. And Sly at the last second even called that last week, the day before. He's like, oh yeah, didn't they do Mario Rabbids? And I was just like, oh yeah, that's right, they did. Sure enough, the next morning Nintendo leaked it anyway. They just threw the website up before Ubisoft even got a chance. Thank you. They're like, that's not our conference. I don't fucking care. Go ahead. But yeah, I wasn't as disappointed with Ubisoft as I think.
I wasn't as disappointed with their presentation. That was fine. I don't have any problems with anything you said. It was on par. I think what happened is the ESA probably looked at the announcement panel and were like, Avatar. Look at that trailer. Everybody's going to love that trailer. We're going to open our show. I do think it is rather tone deaf at the moment to be opening E3 with Ubisoft. Given all of the issues that company is going through and accusations of and things like that, a little tone deaf to open up the main day with that for me. But setting that aside as a personal preference, I thought their presentation was fine. They did all the Ubi things. They hit all the things. I'll tell you what, I am more interested in Rainbow Six Extraction than I have been in Ubisoft titles. I like them for Division and Division 2 6 months after they come out, right? Not on launch day. 6 months or so after they come out, I enjoy Division and Division 2. I'm not really big into Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that. Not really a Far Cry guy. Mario Rabbids, yes, love the first one. I'm sure I'll love the second one. Couldn't care less about the Avatar thing. Did it look pretty? Yes. Is the game going to look that way? Probably not. And by the way, I think you're a little bit late on this one.
No, the second movie's coming out. So.
I know. The second and James Cameron's desired third and fourth movies, but whatever. I'll keep my eye on it. The big surprise in that show for me was literally Rainbow Six Extraction. I think they have a little bit of competition with Aliens Fireteam, basically doing the exact same, three-person PvE
talking about
co-op.
The wrong games. Where's the GTFO compared? Just because it's not hyper hardcore like GTFO, I'm that's GTFO to me. But
it definitely is. But you look, you've got Aliens Fireteam and Extraction both doing the 3-team co-op against aliens PvE. and the one has the Aliens IP versus the generic Ubisoft Aliens. So I think that might, be a little bit fun to watch.
With the Tom Clancy branding on it.
Oh, for God's sakes. Yeah, because it carries so much fucking weight anymore.
Dude, it's his. Don't forget it. It's his.
Although, I mean, the thought that I'm also saying the Aliens franchise, like, that carries a ton of weight anymore, is not lost on me.
Just get what's her face. Just get Ridley.
Ripley. What the fuck is wrong with you, Ripley?
Ripley is. See, here's the thing. Whenever I think Ripley, I think Samus.
One's from Metroid.
I think Metroid first every time. So I have to say Ridley to separate.
The character isn't even Ripley. Ridley's the big dragon. Oh my God, I hate you. I
wanted to upset you so bad here.
Ridley's the big dragon.
I'm so glad it worked. I'm so glad. I didn't expect it to elicit that much of a reaction, but I'm so glad doing it that way made you that upset. That was a way better reaction than I was expecting. Okay, good. I'm glad I got that. Nope, there it is. That's this PvP. The one we talk about Rainbow Six. We talk about one game that's normally PvP, but it's PvP
No,
this
is
one
because
time.
God damn it, you don't know who Samus Aran is. Never mind. I'm just gonna enjoy my cigarette. You gentlemen talk.
Honestly, for me, Riders Republic is the big win for Ubisoft. I was a huge fan of, with Tony Hawk recently re-releasing, with 1 and 2. It reminded me a lot of that sort of age of the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era of extreme sports games, where Tony Hawk kind of brought the X Games a little bit more into the. Now this is that, amplified 10 billion times because there's you literally fly. It's like they're like, no wing gliding, just straight up flying. Like, we're just gonna skip the part where this is realistic and whatnot. But I can't help but watch the trailers with the gameplay for Riders Republic and just think about playing SSX and 1080 snowboarding, or playing Tony Hawk, or playing like a BMX game of any, like, they all of those like childhood nostalgic thoughts come together, and then you see a unicorn outfit riding a wheelchair, and you're like, okay, it's all right. That's how I felt about it. And then Mario, there were other cool things. For me, that's the big one out of Ubisoft. Rabbids will probably be the thing I realistically actually play, as opposed to Riders Republic, which I have a feeling I'll like in here, but won't shell out the money for it, most likely. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen.
That's fair.
Sly?
That's very fair. I actually am a fan of Far Cry. I wasn't a fan of how Far Cry 5 ended. It was okay until that point, but I am interested in Far Cry 6.
It's got a compelling villain. It's got a compelling villain.
Hell yes. And
very compelling. I'll give it that. I'm not a huge Far Cry guy, but the villain alone has me mildly watching it.
Yeah, you can't really go along with Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Again, a huge draw was Rainbow Six Extraction. Like, I really was not expecting that. I'm like, I don't like Siege. I don't like the shooty shoots. The looty shoots, but this is actually pretty decent. I wouldn't mind it.
See,
so, yeah.
I'd be more excited about that if we didn't still have the rest of the conference to talk about.
True.
Because there's some PvE
you think
stuff.
You think that should have been like one of their, like, before the Avatar reveal or near the end?
No, I think I think Extraction was always kind of going to face a difficult E3. Or any sort of, honestly, any forward they would have done. Because Rainbow Six, at its core, has built its community over the last several years on Siege. On its competitive scene and its competitive nature. This is PvE Siege. This is actually based on an event they held in Siege.
In Siege, yeah.
That was popular. So
and we've known about it for a long time, by the way. This is, for those of you that don't know, this was Rainbow Six Contagion before they changed the title because of the whole COVID-19 outbreak. It's the same project. Same project.
Yeah. And then But man, so many other things ended up happening in this convention. And there was one thing in particular that I felt for me was always going to overshadow it, and that's Back 4 Blood. Because if I'm thinking of a PvE shooter, I'm thinking of something more Left 4 Dead. It's always going to be the case. Stealth, again, GTFO is the comparison I'd make for Extraction. But I like the atmosphere of GTFO, and it's more of that like masochistic streak of like its difficulty that really tickles my fancy more. This seems like a more approachable PvE group shooter. And then there's still some game mechanics I'm not really sure about. The whole operators being taken and having to be rescued. Like, what's the gameplay loop actually look like for that game when it's said and done? So, will it actually stand the test of time, or will it be like someone who just played Left 4 Dead's campaign a single time and stopped playing it? So.
Aliens Fire Team had me asking the same questions on multiple podcasts, so same questions apply.
Okay, perfect. That covers the Ubisoft Forward. Overall, a decent start, but a difficult first. It definitely... I don't like going first. I can't imagine anyone liking going first. But the rest of the day didn't... They didn't have to really think about anything for the rest of the day. Like, the Gearbox E3 showcase... I didn't watch it.
It wasn't a showcase.
Yeah, I caught news of it on Twitter, and I was like, that's it?
They were basically drumming up interest for the movie. Which,
Yep.
And then they showed off
the Tiny
like
Tina D&D thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And a few other things in like mobile shit too, which you know, it's
I'm used to that from Square Enix. They always have
publisher.
mobile stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was, what the heck is Games Beat? I don't even know. I just saw that.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I'm looking at a schedule. Looking at E3's official schedule, so it might just be something E3 had planned for their expo site, which nobody cared.
I completely forgot about the Guerrilla Collective because like that was like 3 hours. I didn't even realize that was 3 hours.
That's not even included. Was that part of Summer Games Fest also? Because that's not even on the schedule I have from E3 right here. I have it on the thing you sent me.
E3. Yeah. The E3 checklist.
Yeah, it's a checklist, but I'm actually looking at E3's official broadcast schedule from their website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot. That's not even on there. Actually, it's funny you bring that up because there was something that happened at the Guerrilla Expo thing, that one, that I didn't know about until after E3 was over, and that was Mortal Shell DLC, which I was told that came from one of the like day one like indie things. Mortal Shell is Dark Souls without enough time to cook, is how I like to put it. Really fun game, really short, not ironed out all the way in terms of gameplay mechanics, but I had a feeling that company did probably well enough off of it to develop a DLC, and it would appear I was right because they did indeed confirm that there will be downloadable content for Mortal Shell. Kind of worried because the base game is very, very short for the price tag that it has, and thus I wonder if a DLC will carry similar hours, carry less hours. I'm a little concerned about that it'll be kind of like picking up your average DLC nowadays that you're done with in an hour and a half, and you'll have paid $10-15 for it, and I'm never a fan of that. So we'll see how that goes, but that was something that I missed out on. So I had to call attention to that. Dude, the Mortal Shell DLC trailer had like 111 views on YouTube, and that game sold like 1 million copies or something like that. So I was like, oh, I guess nobody saw this then. Thank you, E3.
Gearbox made me mad.
Yeah, I can tell. You're not a fan of this Borderlands movie, I'm assuming.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so the Borderlands movie I couldn't care less about. I like the rephrase. I liked the Borderlands franchise. I love the first one. The second one was pretty good, and then they milked the shit out of the DLC and everything like that. 3 I barely bought. I mean, I bought it when it was like on sale, and I love looter shooters, whether they're, shooters or we're going to talk about another one that they made me angry about in a second here, but the one that really made me angry. But so Borderlands has been losing me. Tiny Tina is like vaguely interesting. It's probably one I'll watch you stream, Happy, more than I'm going to go out and buy the damn thing. Okay. I like Outriders. Yes, I do. All flaws and everything. And
there's a few.
Here's another one that I like, flaws and everything, and shallowness and everything, because I think it could be something better in the future. Not because it's a great game now, but it could be better in the future, or a sequel, if it gets the chance to do one, could be even better, and that's Godfall.
I knew you were, yeah. I mean, I knew there was no place else for you to go with Gearbox, so.
Yeah, that's Godfall. And what pissed me off about Godfall's announcement, so they announced the expansion, so cool, I'm all for that. Then there was a patch, cool, you know, an update, a little DLC thing, that's cool, you know, whatever. And yeah, it's shallow, it has its problems, I get all of that. Then they announced the PS4 release. And I almost threw my desk. Because remember, going into Godfall, we heard over and over again how this was only possible because of the technology of the PlayStation 5. It was only possible for us to make this game due to the technology behind the PlayStation 5. Over and over and over again. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to come out on the PS4. You're going to side-by-side screenshots, and as long as you don't put it in 4K, you aren't going to be able to fucking tell the difference. And I swear to God, Randy Pitchford, it just absolutely irritates the hell out of me. Absolutely irritates the hell out of me. How he is still in charge of that company, I have no idea, no clue, but it absolutely aggravates me to no end. And when he does magic, it makes me just cringe. It makes me cringe.
And we were here to keep Sly honest.
Don't worry, we'll get to that later.
He's just checking his booze when he's like, shit, I need to check what I'm drinking. I see that nice looking cart back there with the little waifu plush. I see it. All right, well, that's Saturday.
Yeah.
On that note, that's Saturday. Then Sunday kicked off, and Sunday for me was Prime Day for obvious reasons. Sly? Sly? Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Do I need to start drinking?
What do you mean you need to start drinking?
I mean, it started... Okay.
Are you going to do magic?
It started...
Do I have to pick a card?
No. Oh, God.
Do I get to pick a card? All right.
No.
All right. Fine. Just teasing. Fine. What, Sly? You got emotions here.
It started okay. I mean, there was Xbox and Bethesda, and I usually don't really have any rooting interest in Xbox and Bethesda because I don't have an Xbox. And
that hasn't mattered for years, Sly, and you know it.
Yeah, it really hasn't. You know, Windows. Available on Windows.
Dude, you know how many times it said console exclusive available on Windows? So I'm like, listen, I understand you mean it's not available on Switch and PlayStation 5, but you need to stop saying that at the beginning of every title because it doesn't read the same way you think it reads.
Right. I do not think that means what you think it means.
You understand these words.
But altogether, I thought Xbox and Bethesda was a really, really solid conference. And again, no rooting interest because I don't have brand loyalty or anything like that.
Sophie.
But
oh my God, Jerry, I love you. Sorry.
But it was really good. Like there was so much for people to look forward to. Redfall looked good at the end.
Redfall is what made me stop thinking about Extraction, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Hell, like I am GT's biggest fucking fan, and I thought Horizon looked decent for whatever canned gameplay it did. I mean, okay, again, you know, there's mainline Forza, and then there's Horizon, which is just basically a theme park sandbox, do whatever the fuck you want kind of racer, and it's fun, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I thought it looked great. I thought it looked great, even with the canned gameplay and everything. I thought it looked great. So altogether, there was a lot for, you know, people who already have Xbox or, you know, were interested in getting one to kind of be excited about.
Or PC.
Great. Or PC, yeah. Or Windows, yeah. Then you get to what I feel, and this is why I have Byrne here. Byrne is gonna rein me the fuck in.
No, he's not. Did you just hear what he said about Gearbox? You think he's reining anything in?
I need y'all to rein me in because Okay, chat. We need to have a conversation. 'Cause,
Well, that's why Byrne and I are here. We're the chat for you right now.
Yeah. We need to have a conversation, FF fans, not just JRPG fans, FF fans, because those are the main ones who were hooting and hollering during. Okay, there's a difference between what we did last Friday, which was predictions. Nothing wrong with predictions. Hell, at the top of my predictions, I typed in Sly's 10 predictions to go horribly wrong.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the difference between predictions and just straight up fucking wishful thinking.
True.
First off, and again, I point back to the fucking Bird app after
Twitter,
because I was looking at that during and after. Holy shit! And I'm not even paying attention to chat because that's already 3 Mile Island anyway. Okay, first off, y'all realize fucking Square like has Eidos Montreal, right?
Well, yeah, that was the first game we saw for half.
Oh, we jump into Square already. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't even want to give us a chance to talk about Halo Infinite.
No, he was done.
He's like, we'll go back to that.
He cashed it in.
We'll go back to that. We'll go back to that. I just need to get this off my fucking chest. I'm sorry. All right. Yes, 25 minutes of
45
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which, by the way, I thought was the best presentation that they could have done for a game based on the Guardians of the Galaxy, minus how much time it actually took.
Yeah, and that
Just
was like a lot of people's biggest fucking issue was the time they gave Guardians of the Galaxy, which
too much.
You can
Should have been 10 minutes less. There's no reason, like, honestly, they didn't need the whole gameplay section where we actually saw them play through the shit. They just showed us in the, like, little talk through that they did 5 minutes before.
And the gameplay shit had FPS issues.
Yeah, but I always
just putting that out there.
It did. But then, you get the FF Pixel collection and that shit.
They didn't show us any.
Like, they ain't show you shit.
They're like, it's better. And we're like, how? And they're like, see you later.
And then, they gave time to Life is Strange, which fucking deserves it. Life is Strange is an amazing fucking series, and it's coming out. So yes, it deserved the fucking time. And then you get the flashes through all this shit, and then like 4 seconds of 16, excuse me, like 4 seconds.
They basically just confirmed that it exists. It exists.
Yes, exactly.
That's about it.
And a lot of people were so fucking mad and so fucking heated, and all the fucking clown memes on Square Enix. Fuck y'all. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? First of all, do you understand? Okay. One thing with Eidos Montreal, North America, like not. Is that mine? Okay, not.
Well, let me check that. Hold on.
Yeah, like, hold on. I've got a map.
All right, that checks out. You go ahead.
Okay.
You're all right.
All right, but when you compare like North American companies and Japanese companies, Japan is still in a state of emergency, correct?
They're in I think they're out of their 4th one right now.
Okay.
We'll see if they end up in a 5th.
True. All right. When you're dealing with an American company, one thing you got to realize is, one, everybody around the world is working. If they're in, quarantine, they're working from home on a bad connection. And they have to, Slack or whatever they use for, whatnot, with everybody in the departments to get everything and make a cohesive product. Japan is going through that right now. We've heard about that from Yoshi P. So again, from the Final Fantasy fan base, especially the 14, those y'all on the 14 side, why the fuck don't y'all realize this? We've seen this. They talked about this in live letters. So shut the fuck up or I'm going to take it to Twitter again. Secondly, the reason why, North America is cranking out games because we're fucking stupid. And everywhere is opening up, even though we shouldn't. We're fucking stupid. People can go back to offices now. We can do shit. We're fucking stupid. And that's why people like are able to get shit done now more than ever in comparison to the JP market. But you don't realize that. You're all JG Games worth. They're my games that I want them now.
JG Games worth?
Well,
I love
I
that.
fucking hate you. I have the jingle stuck in my head now. Like you said it, and immediately I've got the opera singer on the bus now singing to me about games. Fantastic. Awesome. Thanks.
you're welcome. So, to those of you really like giving Square Enix the business, and like Square Enix had to like protect themselves and fucking lock themselves away on Twitter just because y'all.
No,
were
that's
a bunch
actually
of fucking
incorrect. One of the accounts is old and isn't used anymore and has been locked. The other one was locked several days in advance. They did not lock
one?
after the conference. They did not lock after. One of the accounts has been locked since like last year. The other one, because they merged with the regular Square Enix account.
True. Okay.
The other one was locked
Even still.
before the conference even happened.
All right. Neither here nor there. Let's still talk about y'all. Us. We're fucking better than that. Y'all are fucking better than that. Some of you aren't. I don't give a shit about you. Go fuck yourselves. But we're better than that collectively as, being
Turn
part
this
of the
on.
FF fan base.
Bird knows what I'm laughing about. Call JG Games worth 877 game now.
Just real, like, again, this goes into understanding that, a pandemic happened and like people had to develop in a pandemic, and some areas are, getting out of it, some aren't. So all those dreams and wishes you had, like hell, even Happy said you might not see fucking 16 at fucking Square. Like,
Yeah, but here's the thing, Sly. Everything you just said, I don't think has anything to do with why we didn't see those things at E3. I actually don't think it has anything to do with it. I think it's just Sony's got their hands on the balls for whatever they're gonna do in the next month or two. That's the only reason I think those weren't there. Yeah.
And that's fine. And I'm not only talking to the FF people. I'm talking to the FF people who don't understand, in terms of the dev team and how we know the dev team and how Yoshi P is working on 14 and 16 at the same time. That's another thing. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, there's that. All I'm saying is like all those clown memes and shit, like wasn't fucking necessary. Y'all are just fucking bunch of fucking babies. If anything, y'all aren't the clowns. Y'all are the whole goddamn circus. Again, shut the fuck up or I'm going to take it to Twitter again.
I like it when Sly takes it to Twitter, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah, the thing is, most people understand, like, they're just like, they move on and they're like, okay, yeah, I wasn't super interested in that. Moving on. But then it's the loud mouths. It's this. Since you skipped over Xbox, I'll go over my thoughts on the Square Enix. Guardians of the Galaxy hit every tone I wanted it to. Just please don't let it launch with that FPS. That's it. The problem is,
Agreed.
They did 25 minutes for me to say that. That's it. That's my entire assessment of a 25-minute presentation on a game. It's weird because the Guardians of the Galaxy is literally Jedi Fallen Order to Battlefront 2 as this is to Avengers. It's literally, hey, we're making a single-player game with no microtransactions, and it's important to us we release a full... It's literally the same playbook. It's insane. And I'm all for it, just to have better frames per second. That's all I'm really asking. I hate that they didn't actually show us Pixel Remaster. I hate that it just said coming soon. They've done this with most Final Fantasy remasters in the last few years. They just don't tell you when it's releasing. And then like a day or two before, they're like, oh, but yeah, by the way, the Steam page is up. And I'm like, bro, I want to plan this shit. Why don't you just fucking say when it's going to be? You know what it is? They're just literally, the dude presses enter on the last line of code. And then he goes, okay, you can tell them now. And that's it. That's what fucking happens, I swear, every time. I don't understand it. And then there's like a million mobile games, Hitman, whatnot. Also, all of the cosmetics inside of Guardians of the Galaxy is earned inside of Guardians of the Galaxy, including the pre-order bonuses. If you don't pre-order it, you can earn those rewards still inside of the game itself. There is no cosmetic microtransaction. Anyway, and then what else? They had Hitman Go. They had like a bunch of other stuff. Honestly,
Mobiles, yeah.
Yeah, they had the mobiles. They had the Life is Strange. For me, Final Fantasy Origin ended up being the thing I was most interested in. It was rumored before it came out.
You even said it. That was one of your predictions? That was one of your predictions.
That was one of my predictions. I mean, it was a rumor that had been going around, and honestly, after the amount of Nintendo rumors that go around, I don't really take rumors that fucking seriously anymore. Because man, at least we know the new Nintendo Switch holds 4 games now. We'll get to that in a second. The fucking Legend of Zelda thing. Here's the thing. The trailer wasn't great. I'll give everyone that. It was not a great trailer. But conceptually, I know what Team Ninja's done before. And I waited to play the demo, which was its own disaster, which didn't work for 2 days.
Corrupted.
Not that you had to know anything about that, Sly.
Yeah.
Or before the show, everyone, I asked Sly, like, hey, have you played the demo yet? He goes, I don't have a PS5. And I'm like, yeah, I should have considered that as a possibility, given everything else. So, but that, I've spoken about that in depth. I've played that more times than I probably should ever. And that was the highlight for me. They've done, I want to especially commend the team who's running Origins, like PR or marketing. I don't know if there's overlap with the other teams, but they've like made sure tons of information that normally only comes out of like Japanese media is hitting translations. They did an interview with Famitsu and they just translated it officially and posted the whole thing. We don't see that with many other titles with Square Enix. So they really want to reach their Western audience with this one, and it makes sense because it really feels like it's not made for a Western audience, but that I think they know it generally has more appeal to Western audiences as the type of game that it is. So, but overall, yeah, I just think that they're holding out. Probably the most interesting thing is at the end they said coming soon for like overall titles. They showed Guardians of the Galaxy, which is October. They then showed Forspoken, which is supposed to be January, but then they showed 16, and I'm like, I don't like that you lump that with the other two and coming soon, because now that's gonna, I can't help but my heart skip a beat a little bit upon seeing that. So I'm gonna wait for whatever that Sony conference is coming at some point. Please announce a state of play soon, Sony. Please do.
Byrne, what'd you think about JG Gamesworth?
So in the Xbox Bethesda showcase, I
forgot about that.
One, that was my best showcase. That gets my best in show. You might not have liked everything that they were showing off, and that to me doesn't matter. That was exactly what people want in an E3 showcase. Xbox has learned its lesson over the last 3 to 4 years in E3 and has come around to just, here's a trailer, 15 seconds of chatting, here's a trailer, 15 seconds of chat, and they stuck to that. It was smart. It was super smart for Bethesda and Xbox to team up, because independently, the two of them didn't have huge mega splash multiple announcements. Like they had Halo on the Xbox side, they had Starfield on the Bethesda side. Teaming up made that a showcase rather than Xbox revealing a game and Bethesda revealing a game. Then we had Redfall in there as well, the Halo multiplayer. Go watch the free-to-play cast we put up on MMO Bomb today. We went in depth on how they are everything that we know so far that has been released at E3 and since then, because they've continued a deluge of information on the free-to-play Halo Infinite multiplayer. It's just super intelligent. They get my best in show. Then there's fucking Square Enix, those clowns. Send out the clown memes. I'm sorry, Sly. I kind of disagree with. Like, okay, first off, let me separate some things in the group, the audience here. The people that go to Twitter with death threats and okay, yeah, just go away. You're out of your damn mind. I went into Square Enix's press conference not expecting certain things. If 14 was there in any way, shape, or form, I thought it was just going to be a replay of the trailer for people that aren't the FanFest audience. So I did not expect 14 to be there in any meaningful way.
Right.
I did not expect 16 to be there in any meaningful way. I thought it would be cool if it were, but I didn't expect it to be there, besides maybe a splash screen in between two things and a nod to, hey, we're still working on it, which is basically what we got.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect that to be there. I didn't expect a lot of things to be there. but the show still disappointed me. Like, even with the low expectations I had, it disappointed me. And I hear you on the COVID thing. I really do. I really do. And I hear you on the Yoshi P working on 2 titles at once. I hear you. And those are all valid arguments, except the fact that Square Enix actively works against those own arguments in their own statements and releases. Yoshi P talking about how one does not interfere with the other. Working on one title doesn't detract from the other title.
Oh, I knew
Yoshi P going through
that.
And saying, you know, COVID, the entire experience of COVID has put us about 5% behind normal productivity. We were 15%, but we've caught that up. Like, they actively fight down that slack that people would normally give them. They actively fight that down, saying, no. Pixels was bizarre. Pixels was absolutely bizarre. I looked at Pixels and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably check it out. This is going to be like $20 and we're going to get all 6. Then after the event, you find out via Twitter that they're going to sell all 6 of those individually. All 6 of those Pixel remakes. They're going to sell them individually from the Final Fantasy Twitter account. And we talked about this on the show yesterday, Relic Grind on ReadyCheck. If you look at their mobile stuff right now, it's anywhere from $8 to $15. I'm not paying $8 to $15 for each of those. That's just not gonna happen. It's just not. I will put the cart in and stream it before I do that. That's pixel perfect, by the way. The sprites, RPG site did kind of like a side-by-side comparison with the sprites from the trailer. Honestly, prefer the older sprites anyway. Maybe I'll get it as a collection once all 6 are out, and it's like 50% off on something like that. So, yeah, I have almost zero interest in that. And God, look at the Final Fantasy shit behind me. Like, I'm the easiest Final Fantasy person to sell some stuff to, and I'm not gonna buy this. What else? Babylon's Fall does look interesting to me. I like multiplayer PvE stuff. We've known about this for a couple of years, but we don't have a lot of information on it. Now we know it's, parties of 4, so you could do it solo, you could do it with 3 people. It is going to be a live service game. That does have some appeal and some interest for me. I did not expect for
turn you off.
Yeah.
No, not me. Origin was the worst thing they could have possibly shown to try to sell that game to anybody. That Origin trailer was so fucking bad. That's where Square gets clown faces from me, Sly. You want to give a little slack on release dates? I'm with you, brother. Go ahead. Give a little slack on release dates. You want to, people not talking, or people that expected Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker shit displayed all over the presentation, or 16 displayed all over the presentation and didn't get it. You want to be mad? Then you're kind of dumb. You just didn't think about exactly, those things weren't going to be there. And anybody that thought about it for a little while probably realized they weren't going to be there. So I'll go with you on those ones, Sly. But I did have to make the point about COVID and stuff. The Origin trailer, my God, that was awful. That was so bad. So bad. And that's where they get the clown face. I mean, just who okayed that? Who was like, dude, this is it. Oh, this shit is lit. This is absolutely lit.
Yeah, I'm sure Tetsuya Nomura was thinking that. I'm
sure Nomura was like, oh, that trailer's bussin', man. I'm sure that's what he was like.
I never want to hear you say the word bussin' ever again.
Oh, what? I'm not allowed to use slang? Sorry, what are you, my daughter now?
Honestly, I feel like your daughter after hearing you say it.
But just watching the trailer, I was like, who okayed this? Who okayed this? Then, yes, we had the 2 days of the damn thing not working. All of that said, played the demo. I saw you played the demo, Haps. I love Demon Souls. I love Dark Souls. Love it. Love it. And as I am playing the game, I'm like, I am probably going to like this. This is feeling good. I like some of the things they're doing. I know, obviously, it's not Final Fantasy in that respect, but there's enough nods so far, and classes and Cactuar and Bomb and all that stuff. Okay, all right. I'm behind you. And then after playing it for about 2 hours, I was like, these fucking AI companions gotta go. They gotta go. Just let me play this single player, please. First off, their names are Jack, Jed, and Ash.
There's a reason for that.
And they are, I know, but it's still dumb. It's so generic. And the three of them look 100% generic. And I went off on this a lot more on Relic Grind. I won't belabor it. You can go watch that. I won't do it again here. But that AI, they just need to go. Let me play this solo, please. Because there were fights or actions going on in the Chaos fight where I was 100% sure it was an AI target being attacked. And so I did not prep for a dodge or a soul block of any type and then got nailed right in the face as the damn thing came through the AI component or the AI teammate around them and nailed me. It was so aggravating. They're absolutely useless. The second I found out, to get you up, it's going to cost a potion. Nah, fam, you're going to stay dead. You're going to go ahead and stay dead for the rest of this fight. You're not taking my potion. I'm going to use that. You guys could just stay there. They just need to be taken out. And please, rework Jack. Jack looks so generic. And it sounds like I'm beating the hell out of this. I enjoyed it. And that's not a hot take, Turnbull. I let my allies die during the Chaos fight. I just let them die.
Yeah.
The fight was immediately easier. And it was challenging, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to play it, it was Demon Souls, Dark Souls-esque challenging. Challenging enough that I died, a bunch of times before I finally beat it. And so I was like, cool. I'm all for this. And when you punch Garland in the face, come on.
He's not Garland, he's Chaos?
Chaos? Question mark? You ever notice everything she says ends in a question mark with an upwards inflection? Get some Family Guy in there. But yeah, Square Enix, I didn't expect a lot from the presentation, Sly, and I still walked away disappointed. Only
That's
because I will concede the point that having half of the presentation be Guardians of the Galaxy automatically meant that I personally didn't care about half of your presentation. I only bought Avengers because it was looter shooter-esque game, not for the Avengers IP. Obviously got burnt on that. Yes, I know this is a bit different as far as the gameplay style and what it's doing and stuff, but I don't care about the IP. I'm not into Guardians of the Galaxy or anything like that. So half your presentation I immediately didn't care about. And then Origin, which I was looking forward to, did not look good. Luckily, if you play it, you'll probably have a better opinion of it, even though it is still rough. The demo is still very rough. There's some screen tearing in flat surfaces, and it's not optimized or anything yet, but it's a serviceable demo. So I walked away disappointed. Clown shoes, maybe not. Clown memes, maybe not. Whoever put the Chaos trailer, yeah, you get a clown meme. You absolutely get a clown meme for that one, for approving that one.
So, fun fact about the trailer for Origin. If you actually listen to the trailer in Japanese, there are 2 more instances of the word chaos than in the North American, in the English one.
I do like how they were basically just like, yeah, you guys are still getting Black Panther expansion. Here's the trailer, and we're out. We're not talking about Marvel Avengers.
Yeah. They're like, listen, we understand. 25 minutes. Got it. Even we get it.
It's still coming. Here's the trailer. Peace. We're gone.
I'm looking forward to Origin. I'm going to be doing a lot of coverage.
I am too.
I'm especially trusting because this is a Team Ninja classic in terms of first alpha. Really always look like first for Neo 1, first for Neo 2. They didn't look great. I'm not gonna lie though. Neo 2's graphics isn't. Neo 2's not even that old, and it doesn't even look that.
Let me create a character.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either. But Jack, I wanted to punch Jack in the face. Like your face is immensely punchable.
Like, can I be Garland? I'll punch him in the face.
Can I be Garland just for a minute?
I mean,
I'm sorry, Chaos.
Ooh.
Yes, he's Chaos. Yes.
Oh man, I didn't even get to talk.
I kind of half go with you, Sly.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just gonna wait on Sony. Now here's the thing. What I feel like I'll retroactively be more upset at the Square Enix conference if Sony doesn't have Final Fantasy 16 or Forspoken. I'm gonna look back and be like, "What did you do? What did you do?" I won't even blame Sony for it. No, it'll be fun. I'm excited for Sony anyway because of Kena, which is supposed to come out in a couple months, if I recall. So that's my big Sony ask, is that Forbidden West. And although they just did a whole thing on Forbidden West, so they're not going to do anything else on that. What is it? God of War, Kena, and then 16 Forspoken. Those are my four. If we need to do a prediction show on Sony State of Play, it's done. I just did it. All right. Yeah, for me, I haven't even got to talk about the Xbox conference yet, because Sly decided to skip it and Byrne went back to it, and I got sandwiched in between, and I only talked about one thing. For me,
I don't hate Origins, and then said I can't wait. I said the same thing on the Relic Grind yesterday. I was like, this is gonna sound awful. You're gonna think I absolutely hate this game, but I am a day one buyer.
But Byrne's the guy who plays it, says 6,000 hours, writes a negative review on Steam. Too grindy.
Right. Too short.
Yeah, the game's not enough replayability. Oh man. For Microsoft, I think this is the first time I will ever purchase a Halo game.
Yeah.
I've never owned an Xbox, so I've never bought a Halo game. And Halo 5, I didn't think Halo 5 looked good. There's no way I was buying Halo 5.
Oh, the last thing on that Xbox thing. How good is Game Pass just looking every day that goes by?
I don't care about it.
I mean,
I just
don't care about Game Pass.
How do you not, man? Given your profession.
Game Pass is one giant backlog that I'm paying monthly for. As far as I'm concerned, that's all Game Pass is for me.
I'll tell you what.
It's one giant backlog I'm paying a subscription for. Microsoft
sleeping in the background a little bit for like the last 5 or 6 years, building up this digital presence, and now all of a sudden, oh my God, Game Pass is easily the best money I spend every month. Easily.
And when you compare it to something like PlayStation Now, it just blows them out the fucking 100.
And it's just everything they showed off too. They were like, "Yep, Game Pass day one. Yep, Game Pass day one. Yep, Game Pass day one." It's like shit. Unreal.
Yeah, for me, it's just a backlog I'm paying a subscription for. So, and it also means because I don't actually play on an Xbox because I don't own one, that I have to use Xbox app, and thank God it's Xbox app, because Xbox app actually works, unlike the Microsoft Store. So please abandon the Microsoft Store because it sucks, and only use your Xbox app. Please, Microsoft, the one last thing you have to do, for the love of fucking God, stop with the Microsoft Store. But other than that, so for me, that was the big winner. They didn't. I didn't fucking see anything with Starfield.
The fridge. The fridge?
Where am I going to put a fridge? Where?
You know, funny thing, real quick. On Twitter, in one of our chats, we were talking about all the fucking baby rage on Twitter, and Mel was like, where's the chill? I'm like, in the Xbox fridge. That shit had more hype than Capcom and Square Enix combined. So yeah, there you go.
Starfield, they didn't show us anything. Elder Scrolls 6, they mentioned it. I suspected that's all they would do. Forza looks cool, but without an actual wheel, I have no interest in playing. And it's
arcade. It's arcadey. It's not mainly.
No.
Like
I know.
Forza.
I've played the Forza games before. If I don't have a wheel, I'm not playing any sort of car game.
Okay, that's fair.
There's no satisfaction. Dude, I played Burnout Paradise on a fucking wheel. All right. Like, I need to be behind a wheel for games like that. And that is not a game that should be played with a wheel. Let me be the first to say, you don't go into stunt mode with a fucking wheel. But I'll play Rush. I'll play Rush from the N64 on a fucking wheel if I was given the opportunity, all right? Bring Rush back, all right? Just saying. It was a great game. There was no Fable. That was kind of disappointing. And honestly, I think Xbox has been my favorite conference for years now, because it's not an exclusivity conference. They feign it, but it's really not, because of the way that they handle everything. So that just remained to be the case. Without Sony being there, there's not even a chance. Even Nintendo's conferences, which even when they're bad are still kind of okay. I'm never as excited because Nintendo, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I always have to second guess everything they do. So that's I never feel safe with that one. But that was it for Sunday. There was PC Gaming Show and Future Game Show, and they had Back for Blood. Honestly, I have never once been happy tuning into PC Gaming Show. Not a single time. Last year, I was like, they announced P4 on PC, and I'm like, What the fuck? I don't care if they did it or not. Atlas did it. I don't. Who gives a shit? I'm not tuning into this show for that. So what? So I can see Gaben walk on stage and introduce one game like it was some big fucking deal? No, I don't care. And I don't even know what happened at Future Game Show.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah. Monday rolled around and Verizon and Take-Two and Television and Monday was such a weird day. And then Capcom was supposed to be the saving grace of that day, and Capcom just did exactly what they told everyone they would do. They told everyone days in advance, we're doing this, and everyone's like, yeah, so can't wait to see what they do for Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what I said. And they're like, no, these 4 games. I'm like, yeah, but the Devil May Cry Netflix series. And they're like, hello? We wrote it out for you. Can you fucking read it? Didn't stop everyone from getting mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just happy about my Resident Evil DLC, Sly. You know that shit's gonna focus on Lady D. I mean, that has to.
When's she gonna be?
It has to.
I'm sorry. I'm just past the horniness now.
I just feel like it's. I told when you and I were talking about this before. Yeah, I told you when you and I were talking about this before that like Capcom released, the initial stuff for Resident Evil Village back in the day and showed her and saw how much the internet liked her, and they were like, shit, she's only at 20% of the game. What are we gonna do? 100% the DLC's got to go around Lady D. I think it has to.
I like the Sly has post-nut clarity.
And we get Reverse next month, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, Capcom was like, hey, all those trailers we put up on our YouTube page for the last month and a half? Yeah, we're just going to show you those again.
And by the way, for Rise, we're going to talk about it next week, but we wanted to tell you that we're talking about it next week.
Verizon was, what the hell was that? It was an hour-long 5G commercial.
Yeah, I refused to tune into it. It didn't make any... Verizon having that on the official E3 site was, for me, the thing that made me go, yeah, we really don't need E3. That one for me was the definite nail in the coffin.
Monster Hunter stuff, though. I mean, you got Monster Hunter Rise and Stories 2. That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. I watched them play that for however long afterwards.
Yeah. Looks good. I'm definitely getting it.
Yeah.
Day one buyer.
Yeah, Stories 2 for me also. I'm buying it day one. Definitely. But I'm not much of an Ace Attorney guy. I'll play a lot of those interactive.
See, under normal circumstances, I would be.
Yeah, I know.
Like, Ace Attorney is my kind of good time. I have one big gripe, and I've said this so many times on my stream. There are a lot of, kind of murder mystery type games out there. Danganronpa, for instance. We live in a world where you put Ace Attorney on consoles now. But if Danganronpa can at least do fully voiced trials, why can't Ace Attorney? It's still...
Objection!
Objection. Yeah, words. And then cutscenes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's my only gripe.
Can I go back for a second, by the way? You said consoles, and it just reminded me. Final Fantasy Pixels is on Steam and mobile only.
So what's funny about that is I think they've done that for all their remasters in recent.
Oh, they have, and I know that they want to push into the mobile market more and more and become like NC. I get that, but seriously, fine. You want to skip the PS4? Okay. You want to skip the Xbox? Fine. How do you skip the Switch on that? That is mind blowing to me. That you skip the Switch on that.
Sly's getting his bev. It looks like. Sly, you getting your bev?
No, grabbing my Bojangles from the door.
Oh, okay. I forgot I told him to order Bojangles.
Like, how on earth do you skip the Nintendo Switch on the Pixel remasters? That is just dumb. That is absolutely dumb.
I felt that way about not having Final Fantasy 1 and 2 playable on anything modern. And Tactics, honestly, still. That's mobile also. Like, you got to play that on mobile or an emulator or something. But
here's the thing. Like, if it was on Switch, then I might be willing to go ahead and grab it. But as it is, no way. And I know, they're going to price me totally out of this one anyway.
Yeah.
whatever.
I just need 1 and 2. Realistically, to complete the collection, I can just grab 1 and 2. And then I'll have at least an instance of every mainstream Final Fantasy on PC except for 16's not out. And that's it. I think that's the only one that won't be on PC. Yep. 7 Remake also, I guess technically. That will probably be.
We didn't talk about Legend of Mana. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, that's how I felt. That's cool. I'll probably play it. Yeah. I'll probably buy it.
Yeah.
Or Square Enix, give it to me, please.
using that internet clout. Go ahead, give me that Legend of Mana.
If they didn't, I'd still buy it, most likely. So that's fine. But yeah, that's about it. I just really need 1 and 2, and I don't even like 2. I just want it to say I have it. So it's my second least favorite Final Fantasy of all time, only behind 3, which absolutely is my least favorite of all time. And then Tuesday rolled around, and fortunately, Nintendo had a good show. Some unexpected things, some for me kind of things. Obviously, Bayonetta 3 still being vaporware is a big one. The casual mention of Metroid Prime 4 without having anything else on it. Okay, they made up for that. Totally okay with that. But they hit at least an okay across the board for everything that came across. If not I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I thought Nintendo was just okay. I thought Nintendo had a chance to go out and really there's stuff that I know that they have on their slate that they could have talked about. Yeah. That I'm like, if they go out and they talk about this stuff in any way, they are just hands down going to win E3. Yeah. Like if they go hog wild here with a couple of different things that I know they're working on, they are going to win E3. Instead, they came out and just kind of played stuff close to the vest. Yep. Advance Wars 1 and 2 remake is absolutely fantastic. Metroid Dread is a day one for me, an absolute day one for me. I love Metroid. The nod to 4 Prime, okay, fine. I didn't expect that to be there, particularly with the restarting of development and stuff like that. I thought they were going to skip that. This is Breath of the Wild. I feel like I expected a little more on that front than just 30 seconds of here's a kind of a generic video, because they did say, we're going to have more information later this year. I thought they let a lot of, and I thought Square did this too. WarioWare's back. Yeah. Super Monkey Ball remastered 1, 2, and 3 remastered into a collection. Super Mario Party. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. Golf. I feel like they and Square did this a little bit too, where I don't even remember what the hell I was going to say.
Golf.
What the hell was I going to say?
I don't know. That's maybe you would have remembered if you didn't smoke that cigarette earlier. You got your brain.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? I didn't hear.
Your brain got cloudy.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
You said Square Enix and Nintendo both.
Oh, yeah. So I feel like they both missed opportunities here. And Nintendo hit it a little bit with Metroid and Zelda, and Square totally missed it with Tomb Raider. I mean, this year is big anniversaries for a lot of huge franchises. Zelda's 35th, Metroid celebrating Lara Croft is 25. There are some huge anniversaries this year. Honestly, when they were talking about Eidos Montreal presenting at Square, I was like, that's got to be something Tomb Raider related. That has to be. Somebody else. I know they're working on Guardians. They'll probably show that too. But yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of missed opportunity. And yeah, Zelda, showed off the Game & Watch, right? And then the Breath of the Wild and stuff. But yeah, there's just so many missed opportunities, I think, because of huge anniversary stuff this year, and you're running out of time now to do something with them. You got 6 months left. So
we got the Game & Watch.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, the Game & Watch, the Zelda Game & Watch. Yeah.
Yeah,
how cool would a Zelda 1 remaster be?
Man, I especially love playing an inferior version of Link's Awakening on something that is less than the size of my palm and has a fucking clock in the middle of it. Right.
No, they don't have to do something big every 5 years, but you're talking about 35 and you're talking about 25. 25 is pretty big one for Laura. Admittedly, yeah, Jace, maybe 35. you know, you hit the 30, you hit the 40 type deal, or maybe you do 20 and 25 and 50 or something like that. But you know, E3 wasn't one last year. Want to come back, make a little bit of splash. You got some stuff you're working on. You got a new console that you're working on. Like, I just feel like it was a lukewarm presentation.
We saw the new console, man. We keep talking about the Game & Watch.
Yeah, I know.
That's the new Nintendo. That's the new Nintendo Switch, right?
Yeah, that's it. Right there.
The Super Light.
Switch Pro.
No, this is the Super Light. The Pro is wait 3 more months for the rumors to come back.
As Zista says, it's the Super Nintendo Switch.
No, in this case, it's just the Nintendo, and they switched it for a Game & Watch. That's about it.
Right.
It's the NES Switch.
Both of you are fucking terrible. My God.
That was so underwhelming. I was like, are you really expecting me to be excited about a $50 fucking verse? Like, it's like this big. I couldn't even see it in his pocket when he pulled it. I was like, that's not a benefit of any kind.
Yeah. Tensei 5, yeah. Tensei 5.
Yeah.
But that was spoiled ahead of time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlas spoiled it themselves.
Yep.
And funny thing, Atlas JP had the better trailer than what they showed off at the Direct.
Yeah.
Oh, and you have to remember one thing about a Nintendo Direct. There was a JP Direct as well that highlighted games. Yeah. It was completely it was maybe 25% different. By the way, we're getting new Super Robot Wars 30, and that's only in JP.
Don't worry, we'll get it in the American one next year when they localize it.
No. I mean, Southeast Asia will translate it. It'll probably be a month or so.
No, I believe they're going to release it all in English officially next year. A whole collection.
30th anniversary? Maybe.
There you go. See? There were some things I was glad they didn't show. But if they did, I would have been so concerned. I was so ready to rip into Arceus when they showed it again. Because
they weren't going to do that.
Yeah, that's honestly, I think that's why they didn't show Breath of the Wild 2 very much either. I feel like if they did, it might have looked remarkably similar performance-wise. Because man, did Arceus run at the amount of words per second I am saying in terms of frames.
Yeah, it was very child flip bookish.
Dude, even children are like, "Can you fucking go faster?" Like,
flip it faster,
dude. I've got YouTube on an iPad and I'm 4. Can we fucking get this moving? The Arceus trailer is so bad. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad they didn't. I feel like if they had showed things like Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2, I'm not gonna lie, I think they probably would have looked similar.
Dread looks awesome.
Dread looks great. Dread hopefully runs that well on the actual release.
The limited edition sold out pretty much immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no surprise there. It's literally the first classic Metroid in 2 decades.
Yeah. Well, the Samus Returns remake was badass, and this is built on that.
Yeah. They even said that was one of the biggest reasons why they even did Dread in the first place, is because they wanted to do something like this years ago, and it just literally never panned out until now. Mm-hmm. And that's great. That was for me. That was the winner in show for Nintendo, was Dread. I gotta admit though, I don't normally care about Smash reveals, but I was pretty pumped.
This one got you.
Yeah.
This one got you.
Yeah, this one got. I love Street Fighter characters in Smash because it translates remarkably well to Smash's gameplay in a way that I feel like it really shouldn't.
I thought it was Tekken.
Yeah, I mean, but Street Fighter. I'm talking about fighting.
Oh, you're just talking about in general.
From before, we had the Street Fighter characters. We had
yeah. I was like, wait a minute, there's a Tekken character. Okay,
no, it is.
Now I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I thought it translated super well. So having more fighters, actual fighting game characters, translated into Smash, it's almost like they saw all the stupid hardcore shit from years ago with Smash isn't a fighting game. All the fucking people doing that, they're like, yeah, well, we're gonna put all your fucking fighting games in Smash. You want to have a goddamn choice. We'll have Tekken, we'll have Street Fighter, we'll have everything. But still,
Fatal
no
Fury.
Dante from Devil May Cry. Who's also
Yeah,
from a
man.
fighting game, by the way. He's in Marvel vs. Capcom. We can still make it happen. I want to believe. But he looked like he played great. I like how they show him tossing people in a volcano, but Sephiroth, they had to fucking tease the dick with him stabbing Mario. And it's like, come on now. You're killing all these people. Don't act like you're not killing all of these people. Yeah, they just wanted to not add another Fire Emblem character. That was it. They were just really trying to avoid
Or is Xenoblade character.
Or a Xenoblade character, yeah. They were really trying to get away from that. But that was the first time I've looked at a Smash announcement in a while and been like, cool. I still won't play it, but cool.
Yeah, Jace, Devil May
have it.
Cry is on Nintendo Switch in the triple pack thing.
Yeah, they even they remastered 3 and added a bunch of features for it. And it's actually the best version of Devil May Cry 3. By far the best version of Devil May Cry 3. So, but at least Nintendo was a good if Nintendo had gone downhill.
Yeah, it was all right. It was just all right. They came out, they kept the water lukewarm, everybody had a good time, then they went home. Nobody was, having a big drunk
Somebody was really disappointed.
big drunk party.
That's a deep burn. Of course Smash isn't a fighting game. It sells well. Hey, listen, Strive did pretty well, okay? Strive's doing okay. But that's a deep one. That is a deep burn.
Jesus.
Wow. That's true also. But anyway, yeah, I was glad that Nintendo didn't come out poorly because then Bandai...
Ta-da! House of Ashes.
I mean, to be fair, my one ask from Bandai was never going to happen. I knew that.
Which was?
Blue Protocol.
Oh yeah. Forgot.
Anything on Blue Protocol. There was no chance. It's like it's so not even close to ready in Japan.
Right, but I disagree with you. I think there should have been a chance. Not that they had to be a whole 20-minute, Guardians of the Galaxy thing, but I feel like that is one that could benefit from exposure outside of the normal MMORPG news circles, like MMO Bomb and stuff like that. Where just show a trailer or two. Why not? That's that's what Bandai Namco or Capcom did. They just came out and threw their trailers up there. I feel like they should have at least nodded it in some way. They didn't need a full expose and dev talk or anything, but nod it in between things. Oh wait, there was no second thing for them to put something in between the first thing and the second thing, just the first thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like they definitely should have nodded to it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the reverse burn. Yeah, you're right. Smash would need some sort of online mode to be a fighting game.
Well, I mean, everybody that plays MMOs and follows MMOs probably knows about Blue Protocol, but I think that MMO in particular has an audience that isn't an MMO player, that is maybe just a Tales series player, or something like that. And I think it could have used a little exposure on the E3 stage.
Yeah, but that's if they plan on even getting it to North America any fucking time.
Oh, they are. Oh, yeah.
I know they are, but I said anytime soon. You cut me off. And they,
sorry, my bad.
I don't.
Yeah, we cover it all the time on MMO. But,
yeah, I mean, right now, Lost Ark and New World are the talks of the town, without a doubt.
True.
So.
True. Yeah, we're getting lots of clicks from Lost Ark stuff too. Come on over, check it out.
Yeah, there you go. Whereas I think they mention this now, it gets forgotten. I think this stays in the MMO circles for a while, and then give it another year and a half, 2 years, and maybe something will come to fruition.
We shall see.
We shall see. Speaking of we shall see, E3 2022, will we even see it? At this point, I think it's the first year I've actually really even doubted if, after what we've talked about today, if there will genuinely even be like an actual E3 2022.
After this year, I'm not so sure.
I'm really
not sure. I'm seeing a lot more companies and publishers back out. Probably, like you'd probably hear about that beginning of the year 2022. Like, hey, like we're looking forward to E3, but yeah, we consider doing our own thing. So E3 is it's almost gonna be like one of those small town conventions that like they didn't get talent for and anything, and it's just like a whole bunch of merchants and everything. It's gonna look like that. It's gonna look and feel like that. It's gonna be. I mean, you'll probably still have like a big indie presence because again, that's their shit. Like they have nothing to lose from it. Whereas bigger developers and publishers do. So I think next year is the year you really, really see the decline. Whereas like it's been a slow kind of crawl, but next year, damn near nothing.
It just blows my mind that E3 is supposed to be the show, but like Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, PAX, like they all, and I feel like they all yield higher. Obviously not PAX in the last year, but
community presence, maybe. I mean, especially with PAX. I mean, yeah, with PAX, I mean, it's more of a community thing. Gamescom, like shit, everybody can go to Gamescom. I think, was it last year or the year before where they started to make E3 more accessible to everyone?
A couple of years, I think 2 years ago, a ticket was like $700, but they opened it to the public, and then 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago, I think they finally did normal admission prices and shit.
Yeah. So, I definitely think it's a community presence in terms of the other shows. Byrne, what about you? What do you think?
I think you're both wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I think E3 is all that long for this world, at least in its own. I already started that at the beginning where I think it's so locked in its mindset that if it doesn't change soon, that it will be gone. But I think next year, I think the show gets a little shorter, which it needs to. 2 to 3 days. Do a Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you have the announcements for it. 2, presentationally, I think you do need to, if you're going to try and make it this big reveal, you need to score some big reveals. You got scooped this year badly. You got really scooped by the Summer Game Fest and Jeff Keighley and crew. You can't let that happen. But 3, I think next year it's actually going to be pretty big, if for no other reason than it'll be the first time in 3 years that people can get back together in person at a convention, assuming we continue along paths in areas that we seem to be trending on now. And I think that's going to give it a big boon for one season. Will that extend its life a little bit long term? I don't know. I still think that if they don't redirect what E3 is away from this expectation that they keep perpetuating themselves of the big announcement place and then having the disappointment, broad scale disappointment that people have experienced with it, if they don't redirect away from that image, they're going to have problems. I think there's still a world where E3 can be something cool, can be something good, can be something fun, and can be informative. But if you continue trying to chase what E3 was 10, 15, and 20 years ago, it'll end up gone in 2 to 3 years. But I don't think that happens next year. I think next year it gets a big boost from people being able to actually go in person again. And if they shorten it down, I think there's some fun and some cool stuff that could be had there. But you've got to find a reason to make your big 3 want to be there now. They used to be there because they had to, right? That was the best way to get out news prior to the internet, and then prior to gaming sites being as proliferate as they are now. You had to go to Consumer Electronics Show if you had something to sell. You had to go to E3 if you had something to sell. That's not the case and hasn't been for a long time. Create a different reason why those companies, whether they're the big 3 or the AAA companies, create a different reason that they should be there, that they want to be there, in that type of capacity, or it's going to be dead soon. It's going to be dead soon. But I don't think it's next year that happens. I think next year is going to be pretty popular.
We shall see. Okay. In a year from now, we can look at this show and
tell me how wrong I was.
I was just gonna. Damn it! I took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, even Nintendo is barely at E3 in a sense since they
for years now. Yeah.
So they really just got one. They got one more.
Yeah, I don't think you need Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo per
No,
se.
I don't think you do. But I think right now they feel like they do.
Right.
So,
but I do feel like you should create a reason that, you know, Bandai Namco wants to be there, and Ubisoft wants to be there, and Bethesda wants to be there, and, you know, those companies that want to be there. EA, you know, where was EA this year? We saw like nothing from EA in anybody's portfolio. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should work for E3. I don't know. Call me, whatever. We'll sit down and we'll hash it out. But I think you just need to create a compelling reason for me to want to be part of the biggest news thing, but then have my announcement get squashed between 900 other big news things. Okay, let's go about this differently. Let's do this for a different reason in a different format. That's all.
And make sure you actually have news to show.
Yeah, and if you don't, make it 2 days. You know what? Here's the slate 6 months ahead of time that we're looking at. These companies aren't ready to talk about these things. They are ready to talk about these things. We were going to schedule 4 days. We've got 8 months out. You know what? We're going to make it 2. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with it. I'd rather have 2 good days than 4 days where I'm like, God, I'm kind of sick of watching this. Nobody's saying anything. That's okay. That's okay.
fingers crossed. I don't want it to fall apart, but it is right now.
It is.
And I don't know that they can do exactly what you've just said they need to do. I don't have the confidence. I just don't.
I didn't say I had confidence in them doing it. I said it's what they need to do. I don't think they're going to. I think the ESA is so mindset on E3 is the place to be that they haven't turned around to see that. Oh,
it's like an episode of
it hasn't
Nightmare.
been for a while.
It's like an episode of Kitchen Nightmare with Gordon Ramsay. They love our food. There's nobody fucking here.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's a good analogy. I'll keep that one for later. All right. Although the analogy we heard before the show was E3's like a blowjob that you know is going to be bad, but you still can't turn it down. There you go. It's a hell of an analogy that somebody posted before the show.
And Gary Leonard says it. Yes, you can't just look and say, "Well, all conferences are doing bad." Nope, not true. Gamescom attendance before COVID, by the way, has just gone up every single year. Every single year. The PAXs, depending on which one you're talking about, some of them do better than others. Like there are these, the Consumer Electronics Show, while yes, isn't driven primarily by video games, but they're there. These are conferences that are doing well, but they are also conferences that have changed their focus from 20 years ago, pre-internet, to today. You know, they have other reasons that big companies want to be there. Besides just, hey, we're going to give you a chance to be on our floor and pay us money for a big booth. Well, why would I do that? I could just hold a Nintendo Direct for free from my offices in Japan and call it a frickin' day. They have started to adapt, some better than others. E3 needs to do the same.
Yep. And again, we'll find out next year. That's it. All right, with that, are there any things that we didn't touch upon that you would like to throw in before we wrap things up?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. Again, one more thing in regards to interest and whatnot, because there, like you said, there were like 900 games out there. I said this on Twitter. I'll say it again. If there is something you are interested in, wishlist it. It's a metric. Take it off on that. So do the thing. If you see something you like, and you're like, man, actually look interesting, wishlist it. So you don't forget like a week later after E3's done. What was the name of that game? Oh yeah, you should have wishlisted it. Yeah, but either still, for devs, it's a really good, metric for them to gauge interest and see. Well, hell, we need to get our asses in gear and see if we really want to crank out this game for people. So do that, please and thank you.
Final Fantasy VII Remake listing discovered in the Epic Game Store.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Twitter. To be fair, Would anyone really be surprised? No.
Not really.
Don't think so.
Microsoft might be. Microsoft might be. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
True. All right. With that, thank you for joining us, Mr. Byrne, to rant and ramble along as we normally do.
Always my pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for the invite. I very much appreciate it. Always fun. Sly, Big Daddy, always fun.
Love you like I love beer, Byrne.
Oh,
Love you like I love beer.
Oh, that is a lot of love.
I love you like a big daddy loves
his
children.
That is a sentence I never want to hear you say again.
You know, he calls me Big Daddy. I have to incorporate it somehow. You did this. All right. With that, let's do our sign-offs. Byrne, you're our guest, so where can they find you at? What are you doing?
Yeah, you can follow me personally on the Twitter there, right on the screen, Magickmann1, Magickmann1. But it would be more important and more loving of you if you could to follow our new project, which is Ready Check Radio. It is on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all of that stuff. It's just Ready Check spelled out and radio, RAID, like your MMO raid, EO. You can just head to readycheckradio.com and you'll have all the socials in the upper right-hand corner. We are closing in on 500 Twitch followers. I know, Happy just passed 100K, and here I am. Like, we're closing in on 500. And we have about 20 or so episodes of all three of the different podcasts we run, including Snowbound, which is the Snowbound, which is the Blizzard and World of Warcraft podcast, the Relic Grind, which is Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast. Our episode yesterday just went up reviewing Square Enix's E3 presentation. And then Gaming Gumbo is a general podcast. I get to do this all over again tomorrow, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Gaming Gumbo, reviewing days 2, 3, and 4. If you would come follow, hang out, watch the shows, a lot of different streamers during different times of the day, different types of games. Help me get the word out there. The best way I can describe it is if you liked Game Breaker type stuff back in the day, before like the news stuff started going into cosplay and all that stuff. If you like the old school shows and stuff like that, this is very much a spiritual successor. So I hope you would consider a follow, a thumbs up, and spreading the word. It would mean the world to me. Thank you.
Hey, Byrne, it sounds like you're still missing something there. Yeah.
What am I missing? MMO bomb?
You have all you have all these shows, and you got Blizzard. You got. All
I thought you meant
got
plug wise.
Square.
Yeah, come see me on MMO bomb. That's the actually
stuff.
only thing I do content related that actually pays me a paycheck. So definitely go visit the website on that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know. We had Sly on a Relic Grind episode. We had Happy on one too. We're gonna have them back, of course. I got to get Ethis on now that we've gotten far enough away from FanFest. But yeah, I still do not have an Atlas podcast up and running, or a Sega podcast.
You do not. Yes.
That was pointed out to me 5 minutes after we started the show with Sly.
And I'm going to point it out to you every fucking time. Kidding. Love you.
He's not kidding.
Love you, though, Byrne.
Yeah, so here I am at Twitch. Follow me right there.
There you go.
Follow me.
Follow me.
All right. Thank you, Byrne.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on. Sly. So you can go eat your Bojangles. Why don't you say a few words?
Hi. You can find me at twitch.tv.
That's a word.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly the Fox. The next couple of weeks, not a lot happening, you know. I might be trying out some of the demos from E3, from some of the indies, just because we had the time. 2 weeks from now is my birthday, and it is on a first Saturday, and WSOY is on first Saturdays. So there will be an event. You will hear about it on the Twitters soon. TM. So please look forward to that. If you're on Primal, there will be an event before the event. We'll find out about that soon. If you are not and plan on hopping over, I wish they would have got DC Travel before this, but what do you figure? I don't know. Either way, yeah, please look forward to it. You're all welcome to come, but there's going to be a really, really fun way you're getting your invitations this year. Just keep that in mind. Happy? Where can I find you?
I'm playing video games on Twitch, and then I post videos on YouTube.
That's what one does. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of coverage on Final Fantasy Origin. I'm going to be doing combat breakdowns and stuff. They translated the Famitsu interview officially, so I did one video on it. I'll probably do a follow-up with all the exact details, because it is quite extensive. 7 Remake, I still had some video ideas for that as well. The voiceover video, some people really liked. I want to do something extra special for another one of those. I've already planned that out. We are still tentatively waiting on Ethis to finish 5.55 story before we can do a spoiler cast and an Aor Zivia. I will be checking in with him this weekend to see what he's up to, how he's doing, since he's been a very, very busy boy over the last couple of weeks, and not to mention he was quarantined for 2 weeks as well, so he's catching up on everything at this point. Lots of stuff. Legend of Mana next week. There's a couple of other things happening in the next several weeks as well. Some things I can't share yet. Some things I'm choosing not to. That's it. That's
Isn't that the same thing?
No, because some of them I illegally can't share them.
Pesky NDAs.
Yeah, NDAs. Some of them I am simply choosing to omit because I wish to unveil them in their entirety. So we've got a lot. I've got a lot on my plate. Speaking of which, I'm hungry. So that's going to be a wrap for us today. We're going to do a short post show so Sly can actually get to his food because he wanted to eat it 2 hours ago, and we've kept him from that this entire time.
No, was it 2 hours?
It's 2 hours ago, but you got the food like 30 minutes ago. Literally, you didn't even. You said hi. I'm hungry before we did anything else.
Yeah, I ordered it in pre-show and
I told you to. I said, "Oh yeah, so tonight's Bojangles," and you're like,
"Yeah,
yes, it is now." That is correct. So anyway, thanks everyone for joining us for TBG. We'll maybe see you next week if we have spoiler cast, possibly. If not, we may do something else, a little bit more of a dedicated show in a different regard. Sly and I can talk about that in our own time. I know he's had some ideas as of late in particular. So yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you whenever the next podcast we decide it's going to be. I can guarantee you a show after July 7th because there's the next live letter for Final Fantasy 14. That I can 100% say. Okay. So thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care.
See you next time.
And on to the outro screen that is totally filler. It has nothing on it except for our names. One day I will commission something. I actually want to recommission. Why are you having another cigarette? We're done. They can't even see it. There's no comedy effect.
I don't need there to be comedy, brother. I am the fucking comedy.
You think I smoke this because it's funny?
Yeah, you think I smoke it because it's funny?
To be fair, I feel
live letter is the 9th, by the way, not the 7th.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 4th. What's on the 7th then? There's something else on the 7th. No, it's not the 14-hour broadcast. There's something else on the 7th. Now I have to check my schedule. I have. Well, my anniversary is on the 20th of July, but we're celebrating that earlier.
That is not the 7th.
No, it's not the 7th. Do you know the story about when we were in the middle of Heavensward's expansion launching, and it was the 20th of June, and Mel comes in while I'm streaming and says, "So I guess we're celebrating our anniversary after the stream," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "It's our anniversary."
She was a month early?
Yeah. And I'm like, "It's not our anniversary. Our anniversary is the 20th
That's
of July."
awesome.
And then 3 days later, she comes into the stream and says, "You might have been right about that." And I'm like, "Can I get that recorded, clipped,
right,
in writing, in duplicates of the triplicates, so it's nintuplicates?"
That's like when Peter has the dead clown and the banner in the ceiling that says "I was right."
Yeah.
And he pulls the rope and the banner comes down.
And then it's bones.
Yeah, and then a dead clown falls a few minutes later. He's like, "Yeah, I put that up 15 years ago."
I feel like that's what Sly should have had for Twitter. Is that exact, like a GIF of that for his thing earlier?
Nice.
Oh man. Is this the Final Fantasy Origins menu screen? No, but it could be. They're doing so much press around that
No,
game.
this screen worked the first time we put it up.
Did it? Oh, god damn. I mean, that's questionable. Look at it.
Yeah, I mean it's there. It's not corrupted.
It's present. Yeah, that gets it. That gets it credit. Man, you know what I couldn't believe, Byrne, and I'm sure you found this quite enjoyable, that Final Fantasy XI's composer is the composer for Stranger of Paradise.
Yeah.
Mizuta-san. Everyone's like, you mean Uematsu?
I was very
I'm
happy.
like, no, Uematsu
No.
didn't do... No. Literally, Mizuta's been the sole composer of Final Fantasy XI for, like, its entirety.
And doesn't get nearly enough credit for it.
No, it's quite exciting. 2022.
Not to take anything away from Soken either. But.
No, but I mean, like, Mizuta is just... Most people don't know Mizuta. Everyone knows Soken. That's just the truth of the matter. So, man, I'm so excited. I'm glad they're pumping out news on that. I am quite enjoying the pop. It's just more fun than it has any right being. Although it looks like it's an isekai.
I was so glad that I enjoyed the demo because I was looking forward to when it was leaked. I was like, I could totally get behind that. I like Neo. I like most of the Ninja Gaiden remakes. You know, I like a lot of stuff Team Ninja does. In addition, I like the Demon Souls, Dark Souls series. You know, I could really get behind this. And I know some like Final Fantasy purists it's not gonna be Final Fantasy enough for them. That's not me. I'm totally fine. I'll get on board with this. Then I saw that trailer and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hate it. I am going to hate this. Then the demo didn't work. And I was like, yeah, I really hate this. I really hate this. Then I started playing it and I was like, okay, all right, good. You got my money. You got my money.
Yeah, just got to see how it improves. That's it. And even then, let's be honest, I'll be playing it regardless. If it got worse, I'd still end up playing.
I mean, but that's your job, right?
Yeah.
I just have to talk about it on one podcast and maybe stream it once or twice. You know, your job revolves around this.
Yeah. And I want to fill my channel with all that stuff. It's kept me very busy. It's put me behind on a lot of shit. I didn't expect to have to make so many fucking videos on this game.
Yeah, maybe I'll get there. Maybe I'll be able to quit the day job, but it's also more of a hobby for me than.
Oh yeah, you're not furloughed anymore, are you?
No, I'm actually working part-time at my day job now.
Okay.
Effective January 1st, I came back part-time. Supposed to be part-time through this year and then get a 10% of my salary bonus at the end of the year for coming back part-time and then go full-time sometime between now and the beginning of next year.
That's a lot
we'll see.
That's a lot of words you just...
Yeah, I know. It's a pain in the ass. But I've been there for 11 years and stuff, so it's like I'm ingrained in the place. I don't really want to go anywhere. The only time I would go anywhere is if like, you know, Ready Check or me streaming or whatever turned into Mr. Happy type stuff. Then yeah, sure, I'll consider leaving.
Let me tell you, as someone who does this, no, don't.
The thing is, I do so much. Like this is going to sound dumb. So there was a time, probably, I think it was about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, where I was like, let me take a look at like Happy's schedule, because I know how much time goes into the things that you don't see. Like I know how long it takes you to put together a video, right? I know X hours that people don't see of work you do for a 40-minute video, you know, on this topic. And with the slight editing you had to do, this was actually a 4-hour work project for you to put these 40 minutes out, right? And then the streaming times and you do this stuff. And I'm like, let me see just like how much work goes into building that. And that doesn't count the X number of years you actually do it with nobody fucking watching, right?
For me, that was like a year and a half.
Yeah. Well, you had a bit of a benefit too, because you did I wouldn't say a year and a half, because if you go back and look at your Final Fantasy 11 stuff way back in the day,
that wasn't with any
like when you were first starting, you know, there are years there where you were making stuff that it was small viewership, and that's fine. So totally discounting that, just like how much time does he spend per week? And I know the number is going to be big. I just want to estimate it. And so I estimate it and I put it together. And I'm like, okay, now let me take my day job out of the picture, and any content I create on my personal channel, which I was doing at one time, the Ready Check Radio stuff, the MMO Bomb stuff, let me go and compare that, whether I'm streaming or making videos. I'm not all that far behind you on the time investment. My fucking problem is that it's spread out over like 4 goddamn places.
Yeah.
There's like, so yeah. Obviously, I want Ready Check to get bigger and bigger, and MMO Bomb to get bigger. MMO Bomb's been a bit of a struggle. When I left MMO Bomb and went and did Gamebreaker for a while, the replacement there, who I love dearly and makes great content, the consistency just like took a dive. Like the shows weren't consistently every week there anymore. And ever since I came back like 4 years ago or whatever, it's just been like trying to stop the bleeding of 200 subscribers every single month out of 178K.
Right.
So yeah, that's a little bit of a struggle, but yeah, I'm so supported. Like if it means a lot to me. Even if you can't make it every show or watch every show or come to every stream like you do with Happy, I am totally okay with that. As long as I see that there's people that do want me to continue to do the stuff, I'll continue to do it.
Yeah,
because I like doing it.
Yeah, I always tell people you have to want to do something before anything else. I do feel like
100%.
a lot of people stretch themselves. I was having this discussion with someone the other day about people stretching themselves really thin when they're doing content. A lot of people like to collaborate with lots of different people and appear on lots of different channels. And I'm of the personal opinion that stunts growth unless you are springboarding off somebody else's success in particular. Yeah. Like people who deliberately hang out with people to like climb social ladders and stuff. Same way you would see in like a business brown nosing, like in a corporate setting, in a sense. And even then, odds are it just doesn't stick. I mean, that's why you see things like Twitch front page. Doesn't matter how many people see you. Most of the time, people aren't paying attention. It doesn't matter if the biggest streamer in the world hosted you one time. People will not talk about you a month later unless you have some sort of quality or some sort of ethic that feeds into it. But I feel like a lot of people think about the fun of it before thinking about the success of it. And that's better for your mental health, but worse for consistency, I feel like. There's a part where you have to be smart, but you got to be yourself at the same time. And when you're a part of everyone else's programming exclusively, it becomes a lot tougher to do that. Yep. So
100%
it's a super selfish outlook, but it's also unfortunately the reality of how people become attached to communities. It's just a thing. And maybe we do a show about that at some point.
Yeah. or write a book.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, or write a fucking book.
To bring it all right back around.
Full circle.
And we end where we started.
Yep.
My mom's asking me
I would talk about that if people wanted to watch that.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting
I mean
outlook.
you have the perspective of doing it as a full-time profession. I have the perspective of doing it as a semi-profession. Sly, you got like your own fucking thing. You are like the most unique content creator I've ever seen in the fucking world.
He has what
as far as what you do.
He's got what I call the balance.
Yeah.
Because it's like I work outside of this. I actually have a full-time job.
But straight up, people wouldn't know that if you didn't tell them with the way you conduct everything.
Because with the hours I do, they wouldn't know. I'm like, I'm full-time, but at the same time not. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
that's me. That's me too.
It's like at the end of the day, I told them I don't sleep, and you're like, Sly, you don't fucking sleep. Get some sleep.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Because when the fuck would you?
Hell yeah, I'll talk about it if you want to talk about it sometime.
That'd be cool.
1 a.m. to 3 a.m.
See, for me, if that was the case, it'd be 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. the following day. So, because I'd be dead otherwise. I'll take the 26-hour nap. I'm certainly down for that. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of perspectives. The thing is, man, whenever I talk to people, I'm always afraid of offending people about it because I am a cold, hard truth kind of person, and the cold, hard truth of it is this shit sucks. And nobody should look at it through rose-tinted glasses.
That is one of the things. Like, I enjoy doing it. I
Yeah.
absolutely enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I do show notes for 4 podcasts a week. 4
I don't even
fucking
do it for the
podcasts
one.
a week. Right? I do show notes
I
for
do it once
4
a
damn
month.
shows per week. 1 on MMO Bomb and 3 on Ready Check
Jeez.
Radio. Every single week, week in and week out, with relatively few exceptions since we started the podcast on Ready Check Radio, 5 months ago. And MMO Bomb is that free-to-play cast, that started in 2012 when I first started creating content for somebody that wasn't me, which is a whole fun story we could probably include in the show. Like how I got started. It's ass backwards. You don't get started the way I got started. But that is it is not fun. It is me sitting there going through news that I already know in and out because I followed it as a fan. And now I got to figure out how we're going to present it, how much my hosts probably know about it, taking that stuff into account. And that's just the podcast. That's just the 4 podcasts. Then getting all the assets ready and the B-roll ready and all that stuff. That is hours of boring work that if you're telling somebody you see that 1 hour podcast and it looked fun. And it was. But there was 6 hours of shit ahead of that.
That's why I don't
and
do that
behind
anymore.
it. And behind it that isn't fun. You have to like it.
Yeah.
You have to love it. I did a quiz video that on MMO Bomb that'll probably end up with like 500 or 600 views on YouTube. I've done like 4 of them over the last month or so. And they're just dumb little 6-7 minute quizzes. And they're not high viewership things on the channel or anything like that. They're just a little, here's 7 minutes of weird fun in your day, and then go ahead and move on. See if you can answer these 7 trivia questions. What are these games based on their Steam reviews? What games are we talking about based on pieces of their logo being broken up? Just stupid shit like that. For those
Who's
7
that
minutes,
Pokemon?
for those 7 minutes,
Pikachu!
and that, 7 questions, 7 minutes, a bit of fun that's only going to net me a few hundred views on YouTube, which don't make any money anyway, and aren't going to get most of you to come to MMO Bomb, where obviously, our ad revenue is the primary income there. That fucking takes 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, because they're not just slapdash thrown together piece of bullshit. Like the editing is done on it. It's timed. It's nicely, it's time to the music. It's time to
State
different.
of the realm, pretty much.
Yeah, right. You have to love this stuff. You have to. Working 3 hours for a 7-minute video that's going to net me probably 15 personal cents in ad revenue from people coming to MMO Bomb. You have to be either A, out of your mind, or B, just enjoy doing that, period, whether it's going to make a cent or not.
It's a labor of love.
It really is.
And
It
then
really
it becomes labor.
I always like to
but
like
man.
Happy. This would be one for you if we ever did like this type of discussion, because I have set streaming times, right? 3 times a week. I do 2 to 3 hours per time, and then I have the podcast. You are at the other end of the spectrum where it is your day job. You have to do it. And the people that come and they're like, oh, I want to create content, stuff like that, cannot sometimes get through their head that, let's say you worked your ass off and you became as big as Happy's channels, okay? Let's say that. When you get to that point, there are going to be days, just like you wake up and you don't want to go to work that day. There are days Happy wakes up and the last thing you want to fucking do is sit there for 6 hours playing a damn video game. Like, you would rather do anything that day than play a video game. That happens. That happens.
150 fucking %.
Oh, yeah. I can vouch.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
That happens at my level,
me.
and I'm a piddly fraction of the percentage of the on-screen time that you are.
For me, fortunately...
And when you tell somebody that, they're like, oh, for God's sakes, he gets paid to sit around and play games. Yeah, it's his job. You get paid to sit at Verizon and answer the call center telephones all day.
Bro, I am a call center. Are you kidding me? Streamers are call centers for people.
Yeah, and just like you know, your job ain't hard. You go and you answer the phones for 8 hours. You don't feel like doing that. Happy's job isn't quote hard. Yeah, he got up, got dressed, came and played video games for 6.5 hours. But there are just as many days that he woke up and did not want to do that as you did not want to go answer the phone. Anyway.
Yeah, the commute's hell, man.
Jesus.
Bro, when you don't want to get up, when you don't want to leave your bed, any commute is bad. Think of it that way.
Yep.
The other thing I will tell viewers that do that type of stuff too, by the way, is I don't understand why the hell you would watch somebody play video. Bitch, nobody is watching Twitch to watch somebody play a video game. They are watching Twitch to hang out with that person and hang out with their chat. The only time I have ever turned on a Twitch stream specifically to actually sit and watch the entire game is one that I was on the fence buying myself, and I'm watching somebody who I value their opinion on that game. And even then, I'm there to hear what Sly has to say about the game, not watch Sly play the game.
That's why they call us influencers.
For me, that's Evo. I watch Evo to watch fucking Evo. I just want to.
Yeah, but that's different. You're watching an event. Yeah, but you're not watching. You're watching that for the same reason people watch football.
Let's put it this way: I'll watch Evo for the competition. I will not tune into a single one of their streams to watch them play.
Right.
The game.
You watch Evo for the same reason somebody puts on Monday Night Football. You're watching the competition. Hell, even games done quick, you're not watching for the games. You're watching them to see how they break the damn game.
Oh yeah, or fail.
Yeah, or fail. Yeah. Like there is a friend of mine who is very into the Evo scene, is a high-ranking competitive fighting game player. And I have watched him compete in multiple tournaments online. I have also watched his channel only to support him in that, not because I care about watching the fighting game. I hate that, by the way. Oh, and all of you in chat know my love of FFTCG, Final Fantasy TCG. Yes, it has a TCG. There is, I'm not going to get hundreds of viewers coming to watch that shit, but I don't care. I'm going to keep streaming it anyway, because the 20 of you that do show up, we interact, we ask questions, we build a deck together to see if it works. That's why I do that, and why you're probably there, not to sit there and watch me play a card game.
I'm there to watch you open the packs. And
I do opens, yeah. I do open. Yeah. I did like a 5-hour stream of how all this stuff is stored and what the weird collectibles I have. I had like 20 to 30 people watching it. I'm like, I didn't know there was going to be any interest in it. A few people asked. There were like 6 or 7 in chat that night. A few people asked. I did it the next stream. There was like 20 or 30 people watching it.
You just made a YouTube video called My Final Fantasy TCG Collection. Just fucking binders and shit and fucking boxes and whatever.
And that's not, by the way, this is not me trying to say how hard Happy's life is. It's a cushy fucking life. No doubt. You get to play video games.
Who keep biting each other's necks.
You get to play video games and get paid and shit. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh my God, look at how hard his job is. But before you criticize somebody's job, you probably should know a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to that job.
Reminds me of Bill Burr. He's like, being a mother is the hardest job. I thought roofing in the middle of July as a redhead was tough. But these mothers are bending over at the waist to put DVDs into DVD players. I was like, you know what? That's very incorrect, but also really funny.
Anyway.
Yeah. No,
so come hang out with us.
Wait, that was all an ad?
Yeah, we love doing it. We love doing it. Yeah.
All that, but also come
for an upcoming podcast on Ready Check Radio. I'm going to steal it before Happy does it.
I mean, as long as
Happy and Sly, you guys want to be on a podcast tomorrow?
Do I at least get an invite to this show?
Yeah, we're going to talk about streaming and shit like that, building a brand and all that crap. Come on over. Not going to let Happy do it on his channel. I want to make sure only 50 of you.
You can do it on your channel, and then I'll still do it on my channel, and then I'll invite you on mine.
I want to make sure only 50 people see this. We're going to put it on my channel.
Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it on your channel. We're going to do the whole thing, and then I'm going to say we're doing it on my channel. I'm just going to play the one from your channel.
As a very introverted observer, streaming seems so draining and rough on mental health. It doesn't look easy. It can be, but Happy said something earlier that makes this a lot easier. If you are streaming, and it's 100% something I've always believed in, Happy and I have had this conversation years and years and years ago. And that is how you do an ad, Lestat. That's a great fucking name. If you are not yourself on your stream, it is exponentially more draining and more of an impact on your mental health. Exponentially.
Wow.
Acting is hard enough. That's why when we do it on stage and TV, we only do it for a few hours at a time. You know, it is exceptionally draining. Yeah. If Happy was a character on his stream rather than how Mike is behind the scenes is how Happy is on the stream, it becomes infinitely more stressful, more mental health. And yeah, Malls, there are times that Ready Check Radio has been going for probably 7 or 8 months. There's honestly been 1 or 2 considerations on should I even keep doing it. Because there are those, man, you know, we're not really growing. Yeah, we're small, whatever. But yeah, it's because you love doing it. There is constantly, you feel like a failure, but you gotta, it's not my livelihood. So I don't have those additional concerns that like Happy you have, you know, where there is an expectation of you have to do a certain amount because your income is based on it.
I gotta make that money, honey. I did Raid Shadow Legends today. That makes that money, honey.
Yeah, and you know, I saw that today, and I was like, "What a fucking sellout!" I was like, "What have they done to my boy?"
That's my 3rd time I've done it. I love that. I loved it. So I didn't have the source muted. Somebody actually did just sign up and do something like about 5 minutes ago, and so I heard the sound play, and I'm like, "Thank you."
I was like, "They massacred my boy." He's playing Raid Shadow Legends.
I've been doing 30 to 60 second mobile ads at the start of videos. I've been doing Raid Shadow Legends. Sometimes Twitch has like bounty stuff that I can do. I love doing sponsor stuff. I just only do it for things I actually want to do it for.
Yeah, and see, I'm okay with that. Like, I actually believe you play Raid Shadow Legends occasionally when you're not.
I played it for
camera.
like 2 weeks after my first sponsor, but I didn't stop.
You know, I don't mind that type of stuff. Yeah, it's funny to give you a little jab because it's fucking Raid Shadow Legends, but I honestly know you enough to know that you don't sponsor anything that you aren't personally invested.
Yeah, you know how many times I've turned down Bless Unleashed?
Yeah.
And Sword, I got offered to pay for Sword. What is it? Sword Legends, whatever. What the fuck is this?
Turnbull. That is a topic that we would not probably cover in that discussion. It would be inappropriate to cover something like.
But I will say that
the actual
I love
finances.
I like mobile and free to play sponsorships because they do generally very well. I will say, I will give you a broad sweeping statement. Yeah, BDO launch stream, they gave me like 40 keys to give away, and I played it for an hour and said, all right, guys, I'm just going to random all these. I'm leaving. I'm not playing this. I did BNS for like 2 months of sponsorship. That I actually liked, but at some point I just got burned out and I had to tell them, listen.
BNS, I like covering that on MMO Bomb a lot because we only do free to play.
I liked covering BNS. It's just at some point it was consuming too much of my time, so I told them.
The only thing I don't like about Blade and Soul is the optimization. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't wait until they're I can't wait until their Unreal Engine 4 remake in next quarter. You know, I'm hoping that'll fix a lot of the optimization issues because that's the only gripe I have with that game. Yeah, you might disagree with its monetization a little bit, and I can hear those arguments, and we can banter about that for a while. But optimization is what drove me away from that game personally.
I play gotchas. What the fuck does anyone think I think about free-to-play games?
Right.
Like, literally, although on Genshin I haven't bought pulls in a long time because I'm at 93,000 gems saved up right now since November. I haven't pulled since November. But, Let me tell you, that wallet's opening up soon because Ayaka's coming, and that's the character I said I would save for, and I thought it was going to be about a 2-month wait at the time, and it's now been almost a year. And they said that she's coming soon.
Good luck. Good luck.
Let me say there's no chance I don't get her,
fun.
but I'm going to max her out.
It's just a question of how much do you get?
Yeah, how
much
many
do
of
you
her
pay?
do I? How many of her do I? Because I'm guaranteed her in almost the first 10 pulls. And yet I have 400 pulls. I don't even know how many I have realistically. What is it? It's 160. It's 160 gems a pull. So that means 10 pulls is 1,600. 100 pulls is 16,000. So 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96. So that's at 600. Plus I have 118 on top of that. So yeah, we're looking at her actually around 700. And that's what I have now, not even including what I'll have by the time we get there. So
God. That's another game I do enjoy covering.
yeah, Genshin.
There's some of them on it. I mean, just go. Oh my God, go watch my first look for V4.
V4.
Yeah, that was a mobile/PC crossover game. It'll be a good 14 minutes of laughing for you.
14.
If you
minutes.
ever question like my integrity, by the way, when it comes to
All the
reviewing these things in first look videos, which aren't full reviews, by the way, they're taste tests, is what I like to call them. First look videos from MMO Bomb. Go watch my V4 one. It's 14 minutes long, and you can tell that about 7 minutes into it, I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. I'm out of here. And the last 7 minutes is just a blast. Yeah. Don't question my integrity when it comes to that. Nobody's sending me a check, and if they did, it would be a totally different video.
I always
different
I always
video.
tell people if I really like something and it's sponsored, I'll tell you what I thought about it. If I didn't, it's a highlight video. that's how you know how I really feel about it.
That's also though like something we can bring up too. You have the freedom to do that. Well, the perceived freedom to just be giving your honest opinion. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but you have the perceived freedom to do that. There's this expectation when you come to like a site like MMO Bomb,
Yeah.
where you expect us to be neutral. You know, because we have that journalism aspect that goes into what we do there too. I don't have that on Ready Check Radio, but I do have that on MMO Bomb. So I might, but we balance that, right? I'll do the first look. I'll point out pros. I'll point out cons. It'll be very like neutral in presentation. But then you'll go and watch the free to play cast, and I'm just like, this game is fucking terrible. It is just absolutely, because it's opinion based. I'm sorry. Yeah, we are able to separate the news where we have to be a little more neutral with our opinion stuff, you know, where on my streams and on your streams, we don't have to do that. So a little bit of a different beast there.
I can tactfully dislike something is the way I like to put it.
Same here. Yeah.
I can be like, yo, those flowers look so nice.
Yep.
And then I won't mention the fact that the game's running at 5 frames per second. Be like, oh, look how beautiful this is over here. This is great.
Oh man, you're sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Look at that.
That's been playing. I forgot to turn that off before this. Every 20 minutes,
Hey.
I'll leave it for a couple of days probably.
Fucking sell out.
Daddy's gotta get paid. I mean, I enjoy. It's still fun.
Aloha needs food.
Yeah, dude, you gotta buy. Dude, Aloha's the big eater, but I got 2 cats to feed. So.
Oh, that's right. How is the new cat?
Her and Aloha are. I don't know if they're getting along or not.
Oh no.
Because she goes to him and he starts licking her neck and she starts nuzzling up against his chin and then she rolls over and they bat paws at each other and then he bites her on the neck and pins her down. Bites her in the scruff, technically. The safest place for him to bite, not trying to harm. So I'm like, yeah, but she doesn't like it. So then she kicks him off and hisses at him and then he just pisses off.
Nice.
So the fact that she hisses is the big thing that we don't like. We got a pheromone collar. We got felloways all over the house. We feed them treats together, but we also have to lock them in separate rooms when we're sleeping. So
Yeah.
just in case. They're both neutered. There is no getting laid. That's it. They're both useless. That's it. Although you got it. I do think some of it is the fact that he's a male and she's a female, even though they are both neutered. I feel like a part of him is like, all right, I've got nothing to give, but I'm gonna try. And that's how an episode of Criminal Minds was made. This is the cat version of Criminal Minds. Jug, thanks for the 47. All right, we held that discussion. That basically was the second podcast we were talking about doing. We'll reconvene with this idea in the future.
Sounds good.
All
Are you
right.
going offline?
Yep, I have. I think I'm gonna.
You mind raiding?
No, I don't mind raiding. You just
Can
have
I
to
give you a
leave.
channel to
You
raid?
have to leave. Oh yeah, you want me to? I thought you were gonna say you.
I want you to raid one of my hosts if you wouldn't.
Oh
mind.
yeah, is it Tark? Is it somebody else?
Tark's not on right now.
Okay.
It's Indie Garona from the
You gotta have
Blizz
to
thing.
spell that. I can't.
Yeah, here you go.
We don't have too many people around right now, but that's fine.
She's one of the hosts of Snowbound, the Blizzard podcast.
All right, Indie Garona. Here we go. Oh wow, that's actually spelled exactly how I thought it would be.
Yep.
There you go. All right. Perfect.
Appreciate it.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
We don't have too many people around, but we got cool people around, so that's all that matters.
We do. We do.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All of you here are cool. We like you. Well, we think we like you, at the very least. We don't know you personally, so it depends. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining. As always, I'll let you know when I speak to Ethos Sly what the plan is, but also guarantee a show after July 9th. Maybe on, depending
Sounds
on which
good.
day of the week is July 9th. Is that a Friday? I think it's yeah, because your birthday is on a Saturday. So yeah. It's got to be a Friday. Yeah. So we might do it that same day. We'll see if we're doing that or if we're doing Saturday show. So I can guarantee that at the very least, though. It's either the 9th or the 10th for another show.
All right.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, gentlemen. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your foods, and I will
You
talk to
too.
you all at a later time.
Let's
Take
go
care,
bug
y'all.
Indy.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bah.
All right, click the raid now button, and so.